And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. You could be anywhere or almost anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me, and I most certainly appreciate y'all for that. There's a whole lot going on. I kind of want to gloat a little bit. I kind of want to say I told you so. I kind of want to say a lot, but there's a whole lot going on. We got to talk about those doctors that got on and did the press briefing about the virus. Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw both parts, the whole hour plus. I saw their exchange with the media. I kind of saw them understand what Trump talks about when he is speaking about how the media are, how negative they are, how hateful they are. It's a whole lot going on we're going to get through today. Hopefully we can get a lot of states back open, because that needs to happen. I mean, from what I saw from the doctors and from what I've been seeing just in general, aside from what they said, it's time to go ahead and get back rocking and rolling. I mean, seriously, what are we doing? Kim Jong-Un, is he dead? Is he alive? Who knows? I don't know what's going on. Probably dead. His sister, Kim, So Young, whatever her name is. I'm not really sure what her name is. You know what I'm talking about. His sister may take over. They're saying that she's worse than he is, but who knows? We'll see about that. Also, two Democrats back-to-back punish over Trump. Vernon Jones in Georgia and the Atlanta area, and Karen Whitsett in Michigan, Detroit area. All she did was say, Trump, hey, thank you for saving my life. I appreciate it. We'll talk about all those topics and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for joining. Sorry I couldn't be here last time. I did not have internet for my actual computer internet, if that makes any sense. I had my cell phone data, but I couldn't do this show with the callers and microphone and everything I wanted to do. So no show yesterday, but I'm here today. So thank y'all for joining. Sorry I couldn't be here yesterday, but I'm back in effect. And the reason why yesterday couldn't happen is because they still got tornado damage out here, and they're still trying to fix a lot of this stuff. So that's still going on. And you have the whole virus thing happening. So it's like, what are we doing? We got the tornado still having effects from that. Then you got the virus quarantine shut down. I think they're going to pop open the restaurants tomorrow where I live in Tennessee. So I'm glad that's happening. It's time. It's been past time, really. They should never have done the actual lockdown. Social distancing and stuff like that. Okay, that's fine. But a total lockdown. Let's talk about first things first. The doctors. Did you guys see the doctors have that press briefing? If I can find it somewhere, I'll link it to you, because that was excellent. You have to see it. I mean, I watched the entire thing because yesterday, of course, I couldn't do the show. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? Dr. Erickson is his name, and they did a briefing. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it. I'm not going to play the whole thing, obviously. I'm going to just show it on the screen so you know what I'm talking about, just in case you want to see it for yourself. Hold on. Matter of fact, yeah, so if you see anything come across your news feed with this man in it right here, watch that, read the article, understand what he's saying. He is right on point alongside his cohort right here. That guy right there, both of them. These are actual doctors in the field that are treating COVID-19 patients. So I think they know what they're talking about, all right? People say, trust the experts, trust the experts. Well, I mean, are you a ER doctor? Like, these guys know what's going on for real. They understand what's happening. This man right here has like 26 years of experience as a doctor. These guys are like the pros in their field. And they said everything needed to be said. They said the exact same thing that I've been saying for quite a while. What did I say? We need to be doing herd immunity, which is what we have been doing since the beginning of time. Okay, you're exposed to all kinds of things when you're out there in the world. You're exposed to measles, mumps, flu, common cold, all kinds of things. Okay, the purpose is for you to get out there, get exposed to it, and build up a tolerance against it so you'll be able to fight it off. Your immune system cannot be functioning without the presence of viruses. That's how it works. You have to have exposure to it in order to be able to combat it. Now, will some die? Yes, but that's just life. Death is part of life. You can't avoid death. So all we're doing right now is delaying the inevitable and then making it worse. According to my man right here, he was like, look, you want to quarantine healthy people. How does it make any sense? If you're sick, okay, quarantine yourself. That's something that's normal. If you have a cold or you have the flu, you call off from work. That's how it's supposed to go. Not if you have no symptoms, you're not sick, you stay home. That's not how it is. All right. You get sick and then at that point you treat yourself. It's not before you get sick. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. And then they were able to expose that very well. So shout out to them. One thing they were talking about is, like I said, herd immunity. You got to be able to go out there and be exposed to these things. And they also spoke about just some of the numbers that we know of now. They spoke about California, how there's really probably a 15, 20, 30% infection rate in the state of California, but yet only around 1,000 deaths. And California is about 50 million people. So, I mean, just do the math. You have a very low death rate from this, similar to the flu. Now, anytime I say that, anybody that's against that whole thing, oh, don't compare it to the flu, ABL. Look, it's not about trying to compare this particular virus to the flu. I mean, if you want, I could compare it to the common cold because the common cold is also a coronavirus. That'd be more accurate. But I talk about the flu because it's a virus. It has some risk associated with it. You could die from it. The death rate from COVID-19 is the equivalent to the flu. We don't shut down entire economies for the flu. We don't shelter in place for the flu. We don't do any of those things. Now, I was told, hold on, Frank DeBello, you're 100% right. Frank DeBello says life is fatal. You're correct. Absolutely. It's just a matter of time. Sooner or later, it's going to happen to all of us. It is what it is. But back to what I was saying. You cannot hide from this thing. All you can do is get yourself prepared for it. That's it. That's all you can do. And by getting prepared for it, you got to go outside and you got to be able to be exposed to it and fight it off. That's it. You can't really do much. Back to the numbers. If you have such a low death rate, come on. You can't hide from it. Either you catch it or you don't. If you do catch it, try to figure out a way to treat it. I was told that the only way, the appropriate thing to do would be to shelter in place because we got to slow the spread and we got to flatten the curve. Notice it didn't say stop the spread or stop the curve. Why? Because you can't stop it. There is no cure or vaccine and it won't be. Not anytime soon. The common cold has been around for how long? That's also a coronavirus. Is there a cure for a common cold? Is there a cure for the flu? Is there a cure for any of these viruses that we have? No, there's not a cure for them. It's just a virus that's out there and you got to be able to figure out a way to deal with it. You know, the quote unquote vaccine that's out there for the flu is only 40% effective and it can injure you. It could kill you. Okay. So you got a dangerous vaccine that's not even that effective. If it were a report card and you got a 40%, you'd be getting straight Fs. You understand what I'm saying? That is not success. 40% success rate from a vaccine that could also kill you. So a lot of people don't even take the vaccine. What's the point? Okay. So you're going to tell me there's a vaccine for the flu that's 40% effective, could kill me, and I'm going to take that to prevent from getting the flu that has less than a fraction of a percent death rate? How does it make any sense? If I get the flu, I'll probably be able to treat it and beat it and move on with my life rather than taking a dangerous vaccine that could harm me for the rest of my life. I roll the dice. Really, I'd rather would just catch the flu and beat it than get the vaccine and injure myself, possibly. Okay. Really, I don't want to get either one. I don't want the flu or the vaccine. But if I get the vaccine, I'm going to get the vaccine. But if I just go out there in the world, maybe I get the flu, maybe I don't. I'm just rolling the dice at that point. But if I get the vaccine, I'm getting the vaccines. I'm injecting it straight into my body. That's how that works. Speaking of injection, my man Trump, they tried to get on him talking about, he said to inject disinfectant, to drink bleach. This is crazy. He said the word inject, and they took that, and then they made him say, you got to go out there and drink bleach to kill the virus. Really? Is that what he said? I did not hear him say anything about drinking bleach. What I heard him say was, look, we got to get the doctors involved, see if you can inject whatever you can inject. And you can inject disinfectant. Yes, you can. You can inject dangerous things that are meant to help you. Yes, you can. Like I said, vaccines, that's a very dangerous thing that's meant to help you. And they're trying to get you to stay in the house until they can find out a way to inject you with a dangerous thing, a vaccine for COVID-19, which it ain't going to be none, by the way. Ain't going to be no vaccine. If there's a vaccine that comes around like this fall, don't take that. Please don't take that, because you don't want to be a guinea pig. If it comes out that quickly, think about it like this. COVID-19 is a coronavirus, yes. Is there a vaccine for the common cold? If there is, I don't know about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's one of them shots you get when you were a kid, but people still get the common cold every day. So if there is a vaccine that's not very effective, I digress. The point is that ain't gonna be no vaccine. And if there is, it's rushed through rats and cats, testing it on them rather than human beings. Maybe a couple of human beings, and it probably didn't even go that well in the test, and they want to give it to you. They want you to be the beta testers for the vaccine. Now, I don't know about anyone else out there, but I value my life. I don't want to be a beta tester for any kind of product that they're going to shoot into my body that could take my life. I'll just take my chances. I've been doing it. Okay, I'm not sheltering in place. I'm not wearing no gloves. I'm not wearing no mask. All I do is just basic hygiene. Wash my hands, wash my face, wash my hind parts, and that's it. You know, I'm not going to put my hand into a trash can and eat some out of it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to be a clean and healthy person in general, as I always have been. And I rarely will get sick. You know, I never had a flu shot and I didn't die. So I'm not going to take the corona vaccine either. I take my chances with life. You know, I have an immune system. I go outside every day. I'm exposed to certain things that are out there. You got pollen and lint and dander and animals and viruses and all that kind of stuff. I'm exposed to it. I'm building a tolerance. This is very simple. You know, it's like people who drink a lot of alcohol. Okay, the more you drink, the higher your tolerance. It's the same thing with viruses. The more you're exposed to it, the higher your tolerance, the better able your body would be able to fight them off. When you're put into a bubble and then you're released to the wild, it's like a wild cat getting sent out into the wild when they're about to be 15 years old. They have no chance of being able to survive because they've been in the house for their entire time. They've not built any kind of immune system. They've not built any kind of, instincts beyond just their basic ones they're born with. You got to be out there in the field building these things to be able to deal with whatever life has thrown at you. So shout out to the doctors that wrecked Dr. Fauci, and they're very professional. The reporters were ridiculous. If you guys saw that, press briefing with the doctors that were wrecking the whole COVID-19 kerfuffle, they had some terrible reporters that were in the room asking them loaded questions. The funniest part is that the reporters were trying to argue with the actual doctors. It's like, sir, ma'am, do you think as a pencil pusher, a reporter, that you know more than these guys that are actually doctors? One guy was there for like 20-something years. Other guy, same thing, actually treating COVID-19 patients, guys that have been to school for years of their life, spent all kind of money, that talk about this and study it and practice it every day. Do you know more than them? And I like how they described Anthony Fauci. They described him, or the one guy did, as living in the ivory tower. He's an academic. He does not treat patients. Anthony Fauci is an expert in the sense that he is called upon to be the voice of reason for things like this. But it's naive to think that he's the only guy in the world that has any kind of knowledge of vaccines or pandemics or anything like that, or viruses. He's not the only guy in the world that has that knowledge. There are other people in the world that have that knowledge. Who taught Anthony Fauci? Who does he study with? Who does he contact? Who are his sources? There are other doctors out there that understand what's going on and are able to give you your opinion. It's just like when you go as a regular civilian, regular normie, and you try to get certain things done to yourself, or you try to figure out what's wrong. You might got a bad foot, a bad back. You go to a doctor, they say, okay, it's X, Y, and Z condition. I need you to go do this, go do that, and do that. Okay, they give you a whole plan. They give you a diagnosis. What do? You say, hey, I want to get a second opinion. Why? Not because the doctor is incompetent or you don't trust him necessarily. It's because you want to hear from a different voice. He's not the only guy in the world that can tell you that particular diagnosis or give you the correct diagnosis. Here, second, third, and fourth opinions, not just from one guy, and Anthony Fauci. Okay. And this guy is connected with Bill Gates and everybody else. So I'm not going to trust him too much. How about we get a second opinion, third opinion, fourth opinion? Let's not just have Anthony Fauci up there. Let's get Dr. Shiva on there. Let's get these two guys that were in that video in the White House, and let's get some things rolling. Sweden didn't do any lockdown. They did moderate social distancing and, just telling the citizens what's going on. The same thing I said. It's like, look, if the government have information about how to best avoid the virus or keep yourself safe, tell me that. All you gotta do is tell me, and then I can be responsible and handle myself from there. I don't need you to tell me, oh, you can't go outside, you gotta have a curfew, we're gonna close stores at a certain time. I don't need you to tell me that. Just tell me what you have as far as any information and keep me abreast of new information, okay? Do a press conference, press briefing. If there's anything new you got to tell me that and let me handle it from there. That's what they done in Sweden. They had 1,500 deaths in a country of 10 million. That's not that bad. That's not really that bad considering that there were no actual shutdowns at all. Life was as normal. They got travel internationally and everything else. So it wasn't really that bad compared to, I think, what they say, Norway. They had about 200 deaths, but about 5 million people in it. Okay, they did a little bit better, but was it worth killing the whole economy for just a little bit better? Was it really worth it? Okay, some are going to say ABL, well, people, their lives were saved. Okay, let's say you have maybe 800 lives that were saved in a Norway versus what happened in Sweden. All right, so those 800 lives, how many more lives are going to be damaged from the destroyed economy, from being homeless, hungry, lost? People, I go on these restaurants all the time, picking up my food. I'm seeing the owner sitting there like, what are we going to do? Just struggling with the numbers because now their business it never be the same. Okay, they get in these loans and whatnot, but it may not be enough to make up for what's going on. Okay, they done lost money. Now they're trying to get back into the swing of things, trying to get traffic back and trying to now deal with reduced capacity because they ain't got to do social distancing. So it was like, what are we going to do here? It's a whole big mess. So is it really worth killing your economy because some people are able to be saved because you, the government, told them they had to stay home and they couldn't go out? Was it worth it? I don't think so. Not at all. Not in the least bit. Yep. So yeah, I'm glad they didn't. I agree with you right there, Garchomp. Garchomp 301 says, I don't always agree with Sweden, but it's cool that they didn't go full Karen and do the full lockdown. Exactly. I'm right there with you 1,000%. They did the correct thing. Not only did they not have this big, tremendous outbreak like 28 days later, they had some deaths, but not that many. Not only was that a pretty decent outcome as far as the health of the nation is concerned, but they also are going to get over it quicker because now they've built herd immunity. Whereas you may still see some spikes of cases in the U.S. into the summertime, they're not really going to have that. And their economy is intact. Ours is not. How much money are we going to spend? What, $10 trillion printing money? Now you're going to have inflation, hyperinflation for what? To save a few lives from themselves? Because that's really what it is. You're saving people from themselves. People that have to be in big crowds and they're not washing their hands and stuff like that. You're saving them from themselves. If I wanted to be in the big crowd and not wash my hands, that's my responsibility. That's my prerogative. You can't really stop that. It's like saying, okay, we're going to ban cars because some people get into the car and drive drunk and then it hurt people. I mean, look, just because you have some people that aren't really doing what you think is the right thing does not mean you're going to punish all of us because of the actions of others or to try and protect me. I think somebody said it the best. It might have been Bill Mitchell on Twitter. Shout out to my man, Bill Mitchell. He said what the government has done by doing all these lockdowns is the equivalent to if you have a headache, they give you a lobotomy. Okay, the headache's gone, but now you're a vegetable. So that might have been the wrong thing to do, in my humble opinion. So it's time to go ahead and get back cracking. They're opening restaurants tomorrow. They're popping them tomorrow, and I can't wait. I'm going to be in there. Everybody's getting into it. I'm making it rain. How about that? People say, are you being selfish? No, I'm not. Because every day I go out here, I'm seeing small business owners suffering, employees suffering, people homeless, hungry, food lines out the wazoo. Now you're going to have food shortages, worldwide famine, millions hungry. How am I being selfish? What we have done via the shutdown has caused widespread grief. And not counting Tennessee, you had 8 suicides in a 24-hour period. 8 in a 24-hour period. Why? I lost my job. I can't pay my bills. I don't have no food. What am I going to do now? But that's not really important to those that say, oh, you got to stay home. And I don't want to see no more commercials. I don't want to see nothing. I'm ready to go ahead and keep on rocking. Now, speaking of keeping on rocking, Kim Jong-Un may be dead, may be alive. Who knows? Will his sister actually take over? I don't really know. That's what, it kind of remains to be seen. But hey, if he's dead, I wonder if China will come in and take over a little bit more, or will their regime pretty much be the way that it has been for a while? I can't even really call it. Oh, I almost forgot about this. The Democrats that have been punished over Donald Trump. I got to talk about this right quick. Now, you have Karen Whitsett in Michigan, in Detroit area. She's a state house rep, a Democrat. You also have Vernon Jones, another state house rep, Democrat in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, and Conyers, Rockdale County, and DeKalb County. Now, what Vernon Jones did was support the president for 2020's campaign. It's like, look, he's doing a great thing for the black community. You got the opportunity zones. You got the First Step Act. You have funding of HBCUs. You have the lowest black unemployment rate ever. He's doing great things for us. So I think it's the best man for the job. Make America great again. I support the president. As a result of that, he got punished or beat in front of everybody. That's a different story. I digress. He got punished for that. Oh, you can't do that because you're supporting the opposing side. And of course, the Democratic Party in that particular area in Georgia, they're now going to support his opponent for the upcoming race that he has. So as a result of that, he initially said, you know what, I'm out, I quit. I don't want to be on PlayStation anymore, I quit. But then he had to change his heart. He was like, you know what, I'm going to stay throughout my term. He may not seek re-election, but he will finish his term. He will not resign immediately. He'll finish his term. He's not going to be bullied out of office. Although he may not be able to win next time, he's not going to be bullied away. You're not going to be able to silence him. So shout out to my man, Vernon Jones, for not backing down to the mob. But this is what they do when you're in the Democratic Party, especially if you're a black person. Oh no, don't try to be, support anybody on the other side. And he said that, look, I'm still a Democrat. I'm a blue dog, conservative Democrat. I'm still here with y'all, but my opinion is a little bit different. And they want to punish him for that. Now, Karen Whitsett, I could almost understand the case of Vernon Jones, although I don't agree with it. I could almost understand it because he's supporting the president. Democrats hate him. So I can almost get it, even though it's not right. I can almost get it. It kind of makes a little bit of sense, even though it's not right. But Karen Whitsett, this case, there's no rationale. You cannot make this case make any sense, in my humble opinion. Now, Trump got on stage and was talking about hydroxychloroquine, right? Remember that? He was saying the drug could actually help a lot of people, and it has. And they were doing trials in New York at the time with hydroxychloroquine. So he was speaking highly of the drug, and people heard that. One of them that heard that was Karen Whitsett, a Democratic House rep in Michigan. She caught COVID-19 and was declining rapidly. Okay, she was doing very bad, could have died, but she remembered that she saw Trump on stage talking about hydroxychloroquine, right? So she asked the doctor, hey, can we get that drug? Can I try that and see if it'll help me to get better? And the doctor said yes. They jumped through a few hoops to get it because the governor, Gretchen Whitmer, tried to block it. That's a different story. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But after she got hydroxychloroquine, she made a recovery miraculously and was totally 100% fine. So she thought it would be a nice thing to say to the president, thank you for saving my life. I appreciate it. Okay. If not for you, I'd be dead. That seems very nice. And, a thing that would be kind of common sense to do. If someone saves your life, you say thank you. So after that happened, she got invited to the White House and she went. It was her and other COVID-19, aka China virus survivors. They spoke to the president, and it was a cordial meeting. It wasn't really political or anything like that. She did not say Make America Great Again. She did not give endorsement of the president for 2020. It was nothing like that. It was just a simple, cordial meeting, right? So after that, the Democratic Party in her particular area of Michigan censured her, and they're going to support the opposing candidate in the next election. Now, the funny part is that the guy that put out the statement talking about, oh, well, we got to party for a reason. There's rules. You can't do whatever you want to do. You got to follow protocol. That guy that censured her, his name is Jonathan Kinlock, black male. He works for the white woman, the governor, Gretchen Whitmer. So Karen Whitsett got on Glenn Beck and said, you know what? This is probably retaliation because I threw the governor under the bus and ran over her, which was hilarious, by the way. She said that exactly verbatim, but it's probably retaliation because she got on TV and said that the drug that Gretchen Whitmer tried to block actually saved her life, and she thanked the president for making it available. Okay, so Whitmer was mad at Whitsett for going on TV and doing that and punished her as a result. That's what happened. That's the Democratic Party for you, right? So who wants to really be over there? I mean, if you have certain views that may align with the Democratic Party, I understand, but why would you want to be part of their party when they treat you like that? Some tried to say it's the equivalent of Mitt Romney getting censored or attacked on the right. No, it's not at all. Because what Mitt Romney did was like vote against certain things that we need. And same thing with John McCain. You're voting against repeal and replace Obamacare. You know, he was just being vindictive. John McCain knew he was dying, but did not retire just to spite Trump. That kind of stuff right there is ridiculous. Okay. Nobody would have gotten mad at Romney if you were to say that Obama were a nice guy. Same thing with John McCain. Okay. Because when McCain was running against Obama, what was it, 2012? Whenever that was. I don't know, 2008, 12, whatever. Anyway, when he was running against him, and then somebody said that he's from Kenya or a Muslim or something, he defended Barack Obama. That's not really no big deal to anybody that I know. But what was the big deal was blocking Obamacare, repeal and replace. That was the big deal. So there's kind of a false equivalency there when you're talking about John McCain, Mitt Romney, and Karen Whitsett, and Vernon Jones. So shout out to Vernon Jones and Karen Whitsett. Hopefully you guys come to the right. I don't see why not, especially Vernon Jones, because he's a conservative already. So it's like, what are you doing? You're already conservative. Be over there or come over here. He could stay over there and be like David Clark up there in, was it Minnesota, Minneapolis or whatever. He's a Democrat on paper, but he's a conservative once he actually gets in there and does things. But he has to be Democrat to get elected because regular normies don't really understand, you know, that whole process of how it goes. They'll probably just vote Democrat kind of blindly. But he does a good job as a Democrat in that particular role. So shout out to my man, Vernon Jones, 1000%. Absolutely. All right. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Share the video. Do all that good stuff. And we got 1,500 in here live. Thank y'all for joining tonight on a special edition. I was not able to do it yesterday. They're still working on stuff from the tornado that hit here like about 2 weeks ago or so. It's like lines that have the internet because our internet here is aligned with the power company. So it's kind of like the same. So they're working on power lines and stuff like that. And they did some kind of project last night that had internet out for like 8 hours or something. So I couldn't do the show. I have my cell phone data, but that's not enough to really run the whole operation you see in front of you. I got a router right there with Ethernet cord coming to an actual PC, a tower with 2 monitors and the camera. So there's a whole lot going on. But thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. What else we got going on? Now, the whole thing with Kim Jong-Un, what's going to be the result of that? What's going to be the result if he actually dies? And I think he's been dead for a while, actually. I think he's been dead since April 11th. He's not been seen since then. Some are saying that, oh, he's at a resort, he's hanging out, he's partying. No, he's not. That's not how that really works, North Korea. You're going to see dear leader. You're not going to just have him vanish without a trace and be gone somewhere hanging out. If you see Kim Jong-un ever again, it's a clone. I can almost guarantee you. A clone, a body double, a stunt double, whatever you want to call it. It's not him. Let's just keep that, clear. Now, some are saying that China got them. They wanted to, overthrow them and install their person. North Korea is pretty much already a satellite state of China. If not for China, North Korea may be part of South Korea again. It could be. China wants to keep North Korea the way it is as a buffer zone in between South Korea, which is dominated by the U.S., and China. They don't want to have like the American influence get to the border of China, like the physical actual border. They don't want that. They don't want people from China going across the border into South Korea and experiencing that lifestyle, getting information they don't have from the outside world, because a lot of Chinese people, they're kind of shut off. Some are able to get information from the West, but it's not really that easy in a lot of these places. If you kind of in a rural place, you're not in Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Macau, Shenzhen, something like that, it's easy for you to kind of get shut off from the outside world. So if you're right there at the border of North Korea and you're able to get American information, it can be kind of dangerous. So they don't really want that at all in their particular part of the world. But it is what it is. We'll see if the guy's dead or if he is not. Now, some are saying that Kim Jong's alive. Hey, it's possible. It's possible that he is alive, but I seriously doubt it. Yeah, he had heart surgery. Like what they're saying is that he had heart surgery and it was botched, and now he's in critical condition, vegetative state, or he's just outright dead. He could be on a ventilator, ironically enough, and brain dead, but technically still alive. That could be what's going on. Now, if you're in that state, you're not coming back. If you're brain dead, you're dead. So, I mean, that's pretty much all that there is. Technically, you're still living because you still have you still have brain function to a certain extent. Not really, not brain function. You still have your organs and stuff working, but really you're dead. That's what's going on. Is he in the bunker? I don't think so. I seriously doubt that 100%. Yeah, I think there may be an interest in keeping him alive because if he's dead, that could be a geopolitical issue. North Korea is in a very sensitive location. You're right there at the border of China. Russia's also right there at the border of North Korea. Japan's right there. South Korea's right there. There's a lot of U.S. interests. Like everything is right there. U.S., Russia, China, all right there in North Korea, pretty much. Or on the border or in the water, somewhere very close by. So it's very precarious situation right there, 100%. Taking bids for the organs, nah, I doubt that. Those have already been sold off for sure, or straight up missing. That's a good question, Adam. He says, why did he miss his grandfather's day? Probably because he's not alive anymore, or he's on a ventilator, breathing artificially, but not actually living. No brain function. You understand what I'm saying? All right. But what else we got going on? It's a whole lot happening. Hold on. There's something I wanted to see right here. Oh, the inject comments from Donald Trump. Now, people are getting, they're blowing my inbox up. They're blowing me up talking about, oh, you see Trump's comments about he wants to inject disinfectant. Listen, I mean, Trump just asking questions about the whole thing. Before you got on stage and said the whole thing about inject, you had the guy from DHS, I forget his name, but you guys know in the comments, the acting secretary of DHS, he got on stage and was talking about the ways that you can combat the virus. He was talking about bleach, Lysol, all these things that you can use on surfaces to clean it or to kill it. He was saying how long it would take, talking about the half-life and alcohol, all kind of stuff to be able to defeat the virus on surfaces. That's what he was saying for a long time. And Trump got on stage and was talking about, well, what can we do to actually apply that to the human being? Okay, alcohol. Like, if you have any kind of hand sanitizer, that's alcohol. This right here, the ingredients are as follows for the most part. Aloe, rubbing alcohol. That's it. That's all this is. So when you see a brewery come out and say, we're going to produce hand sanitizer, they got half of the ingredients already in the alcohol. All they got to do is put some aloe in it, shake it up, boom. They got what they need right there. It's easy. 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy. You understand? So That's what we was talking about before Trump got on stage, and Trump was asking about how can we implement that in the body. And you can inject light into the body. Yes, you can. There's already, matter of fact, if I could find that, I'll place it on the screen before you. So it was not totally out of bounds. Like, can you inject a Lysol or something like that? No. But people said that he said drink bleach. Bleach, really? Is that what he said? He did not say drink bleach, but that's people, they think that. And that thought is moved forward by the media. They'll go out on Twitter or whatever and say, Trump said to drink bleach. Did not say anything about drinking bleach. And then they're talking about New Yorkers had like a 30% or 50% increase in the number of household cleaner ingestions as reported by the ER. It's like, look, if you were at home drinking bleach, that's your fault. Don't blame nobody else for that. It's like the whole Tide Pod challenge. If you see a guy on TV eating a Tide Pod and you go and eat it, whose fault is that? That whole thing got so bad. They had to put the Tide Pods behind a lock at the store. It's like, really? Are y'all eating the Tide? Like, what are we doing? You know that you can't eat the Tide Pod, okay? You can't do that. That's something that we should already be knowing. So what are you doing eating the Tide Pod, sir? Or ma'am, or whatever. People did it, though, because they're morons. It's the same thing with the people that took fish tank cleaner because they thought it was hydroxychloroquine. It was chloroquine phosphate, a whole different compound, not the same thing at all. They took that, and then one guy died, other one ICU. That's your fault. Don't blame Trump for that. If you took things that are clearly labeled, do not swallow, do not ingest, in case of accidental ingestion, call your doctor, call the police, whatever. Don't just take a shot of some bleach like it's a shot of liquor. Don't do that. And nobody said do that. I think the people that actually said do that are those that are trying to attack Trump for saying it. And I think the people that are trying it are getting a dumb idea for those that are saying that it's a dumb idea, if that makes any sense. Meaning those that are trying to attack those of us on the right for what Trump said are the main ones perpetuating it because they said drink bleach. They said inject Lysol. Nobody said anything like that, but hey, it is what it is. But I just am glad to know that you guys in the chat aren't morons. You're not going to go out there and drink bleach or inject Lysol. How are you going to inject Lysol? You telling me that? It's an aerosol. How are you going to inject that? It's weird. Has anybody ever heard of injecting bleach in your life? Like, to think about that, just think for a second. Hey, you know what? Before I take this needle of bleach and put it in my body, is this something that's new? Can I really do this? Is it safe for me to do this? How about I read the bottle? Do not inject. Do not put into body. Do not swallow. Okay, maybe I should read this and obey it. Or call my doctor and see what's what, rather than just taking it into my own hands and trying something just to see what happens. This is like, what's a man's name from Jackass? I forget his name. It's like that. You go out here and you just stapling your eyebrows shut. That kind of thing is going on. You understand? Just stupid stuff for no reason. But hey, it is what it is. I want to find that light injection. Hold on. I'm gonna find that. Don't you fret. I'm going to find it. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to find it right quick. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, hit a thumbs up on the video, like the video. And if you are a first-time viewer, go ahead and subscribe. That'll help me out tremendously. And I thank y'all for that in advance, for sure. Okay, let me find this whole thing with the light injection. Now, of course, Twitter is going to actually block it. Because that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to find it on Twitter. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Here it is. Now, this is an example of UV light injection. Video and everything. Let's play it right quick. All right. So it's a whole setup. UV light injection. Okay. Now, what they said in that press briefing, aside from the whole injection kerfuffle, was right on point. How are you going to beat the virus? Okay, exposure to sunlight. Oh, wow, you don't say. Exposure to sunlight. Isn't that what they always have been saying since like the beginning? Get outside, Get some fresh air. Don't be inside. You're breathing all the mold and the toxins and all the stale air in your house. Doesn't that make sense? And to zoom out a little bit, let's just be clear about this whole shelter in place order, which does not make sense. Most of the viruses have come from people being sheltered in place. A nursing home, okay? Let's just be clear. Okay, the more you get outside and away from sheltering in place, the better off you be. Okay, Chris Cuomo was sheltering in place in his house, right? Then his wife caught it. Then his son caught it. How about you be outside and not so much at home? Then maybe they wouldn't be getting it. Just maybe. I'm just saying, don't be so much in the house. You'd be better able to fight it. And like I said earlier, also when you're not at home, quote unquote, sheltering in place, you're able to actually build an immune system, build herd immunity, and have a better chance of being able to fight off other viruses. Because let's not actually stop trying to be healthy in general, okay? If you're not going outside, if you're not building your immune system, not only are you're not going to have the herd immunity from the COVID-19, you're also not going to have it from flu or common cold. So when you do go back outside for the first time in 5 weeks, now you have a weak immune system, you might die from the common cold. So if there's a spike in cases after the coronavirus shutdown is over, is it because people are going outside and catching it when they shouldn't be? Or is it because they've been inside for weeks and to not build an immune system to be able to deal with any virus? So now they're becoming sick as a result of a weak immune system. Okay. Then on top of that, you got depression, everything else leading to a bad immune system. You're lowering your chances of being able to fight the virus off. Your body is a very powerful thing. It's a very resilient thing. But when you don't take care of it, when you don't do natural things to be able to build your tolerance and have a natural toughness, you're going to suffer as a result. And it's a message from the nature that's saying, hey, don't keep me inside. Let's go outside, get some sun. When you don't get a lot of sun, when you don't go outside, what they call that SAD, seasonal awareness, something. You know what I'm talking about. That disorder from not getting vitamin D, from not getting sunlight. It's your body telling you we need to go outside, get some sun. It's so simple, but it's not really a thing that's spoken about too much, in my humble opinion. But it is what it is. Oh, SB, that's a good question, SB. SB says, why won't CNN address Chris Cuomo's wife bathing in bleach to fight the virus or to prevent the virus? She had this whole big routine thing she did to quote unquote stay healthy. One of them was bathing in bleach. So let me get this straight, mainstream media, anybody out there, any regular normies on the left. Trump is wrong for not saying drink bleach. They say he said drink bleach, although he didn't. He's wrong for not saying drink bleach. But Chris Cuomo's wife, and it's no problem with her bathing in bleach. Is that Trump's fault that she bathed in bleach? Did Trump go on TV and say, hey, Chris Cuomo's wife, I need you to go in there and fill up a tub with bleach in it and bathe in that? I mean, did he say that? Who's to blame for that? If she goes to the hospital with chemical burns on the body from bathing in bleach, which if you get that on your skin, you can actually go to the hospital because now you get a chemical burn. Is that going to be Trump's fault because she did that? Okay, where they live in New York, Atlanta? I don't know. If they live in New York and she goes to the ER as a result of being burnt by bleach, would that be added into the total of the new people that are going to the hospital because of what Trump said or after Trump? I mean, come on, what are we doing here? That was crazy. Said his wife. Matter of fact, if I could pull the story out right quick, I'll do it. Yeah, Chris Cuomo, wife, bleach. Okay, this is LA Times, USA Today. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and turn my ad blocker off right quick. Okay. Now, here's the headline, which is crazy. Trump wonders if injecting bleach, which he didn't say, kills coronavirus, but Christina Cuomo bathes in it. Now, they changed this headline. The original one was Cuomo's wife bathes in bleach, something like that. It was a different thing. It wasn't the same thing at all. It was a whole different headline, but they got to attack Trump. Okay, let me see. One more time for President Trump and Christina Cuomo. Cleaning fluid should not be used on or in your body to fight COVID-19. Now, Christina Cuomo, same with husband Chris at CNN, has added Clorox to her bath water while fighting COVID-19. So she has a virus, and part of her routine is to add Clorox to the bath water. Did Trump say anything about bathing in bleach or inject bleach or drink bleach or anything like that at all? No, he didn't, but this lady right here is bathing in it. Now, that's crazy. I don't need to put bleach on my clothes when I put them in the washing machine, let alone put it in my bath water or shower water. That's crazy. How is that going to help you? By putting it on your skin? I'm not really sure. But hey, that's the left for you right there. I don't have too much more to say. That's really what it is about them. But thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. We got super chats right quick, and then I'm going to get to a little bit more in the show. Shout out to Eric Burns Marsh, who says, notice how the left no longer praises Sweden since they refused to shut down. And that's right, 100%. That's a very good point. Because at one point, Sweden were like the poster children of everything that was good about socialism and communism, although they don't really have that. They have kind of a thing similar to ours or Canada maybe. But they are not really praised too much anymore because of the simple fact that they did not shut down. It's weird how they want everybody to shut down. I don't really understand the purpose of shutting down or the purpose of them being so butthurt and offended if you don't shut down. Maybe the whole thing is about gaining control and it's not really about anything else other than that. But hey, I could be wrong. Just a guy talking on the internet. Thank you for the donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Bucolic Buffalo, who says Jericho Green reported Newsom contracted China company $1 billion to make masks. How's that possible while begging for a bailout? Ponderous man. Hey, that's a very good point. 100%. I don't know. And why would you go to China? Because we know the Chinese give you anything. They don't really care about the efficacy. They don't care if it works, if it doesn't work, if it has a virus on it already. They don't really care. Wasn't there like 35 million in tests that got bought in Europe that did not work that came from China? I mean, what are we doing? But thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to my man, Dade Lee, who says Fauci needs an egotistical smackdown. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Marie Stark, who says keep it up with the emoji. I appreciate you for that one. Thank you. Shout out to Darren Buchanan, who says this country is founded on individuals who think for themselves. The left has taken the minds of the so many adults. It's insane. Stay safe, ABL, hashtag Blexit. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, it was founded on independent people, not just people that are going to be led by their nose to wherever the leader wants them to go, being led astray. We're not a nation, or we shouldn't be, of followers. We should be leaders. All right. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Thank you to Colette, who says ABL, Houston, Texas. It's been quiet. No cars for weeks. Today, cars everywhere. Plus, my McDonald's is all stocked again. It's little things. And I'm right there with you. Thank you for that. It's similar out here. For a while, it was like a ghost town. Right when it first popped and everything happened, it was a ghost town. But I'm seeing gradually it started to pick up, and now it's back to being packed again, 100%. And I'm glad, because that is a signal of a vibrant economy. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to Matthew, who says chemo is poison injected to kill cancer cells. Exactly. You're talking about radiation. They inject you with radiation to kill cancer cells. But when Trump says to inject disinfectant, well, not disinfectant, to possibly inject some kind of thing like disinfectant, then that's wrong. That's somehow moronic. It's kind of crazy. And they have actually done that. Like you said, chemo, that's poison. The light is disinfectant. But hey, Trump's wrong. He's a moron. Whatever. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Leo Ox, who says, thanks, ABL. Appreciate your insight. Hey, no problem. Thank you for your donation and your support. Shout out to Justin Miller, who says, which person's murderer would you most like to know the identity of, JFK or Jeff Epstein, who we know didn't kill himself? Good question. I say JFK. Epstein, it could have been, it don't really matter because we all knew Epstein was going to die. That was just a matter of time. When he died, nobody was surprised, or at least they shouldn't have been. That was the easy one to call right there. You just bit high profile pedophile with a bunch of big name guys on your private plane on a private island. Oh no, you gotta go because you know too much. But thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to my man, Samson the Gorilla, who says we need to stop protesting and begging the government to allow us to live our lives. Free men and women don't ask permission, just do it. Hey, I'm out here just pretty much doing whatever. So I see what you're saying, man. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to my man, Sushi, who says people get a cold, people run a fever, then get better. Do not get into a 300-degree oven to get well faster. Exactly. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm saying, get warm and you'll be able to get better, but don't get into an actual brick pizza oven to get better. You understand what I'm saying? Well, thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Miriam Vidal, who says the Larry King video where Tara Reid's mom called in is now deleted from all Google Play apps. Yeah, I saw that. Matter of fact, if I could find it, I think I have it somewhere where they showed, like on the actual page where all the episodes were, where that one was missing. They went through all kind of lengths to be able to stop that too, because what they did was remove the episode number. Like they changed episode numbers too. They removed the episode and then they changed the numbers to make it appear like the episode was not missing. It was crazy, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And shout out to Jonestown Autopsy, who says, Best Buy would not let me in the store today without a mask. I went in my car and grabbed a McDonald's bag. I really wanted that new Lil Uzi Vert CD. Hilarious. 1,000%. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Ed Hoffman, who says, bleach is added to swimming pools. Very good at killing bacteria. Very good point. Absolutely. But, people just see things and then they just be like, okay, well, Trump said it. He's a moron. And that's it. If it actually happens in just everyday life, then it's not really your problem and it's okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And is that all we got? Yeah, we got quite a few in the building. We got about 1,500 live. I thank y'all for joining. This is a call-in show. I'll get to the calls in just a moment. Yeah, but JFK, who knows? I mean, it could have been anybody. They said it was a mob that did that. Who knows? But as far as Epstein, that was obvious. It could have been anybody that did that. It could have been just a guy in a jail that got just paid to do it by some shadowy figures. Who knows? There were so many things that went wrong with that. That was an obvious planned hit from the inside. 1,000%. Yeah, on a Sunday, Mike, because yesterday I couldn't do the stream, so I'm here today. And I thank y'all for joining. You could be anywhere else, but you right here with me. I thank y'all. April asked me, do I think Kim is still alive? No, I don't think Kim Jong-Un is still alive. I think he's been dead. I think he's been dead since early April, like at least April 12th, he's been dead. Probably maybe even the 10th or before that. He's not been seen since the 11th, so he's probably been dead since at least then. 100%. And they're not really telling anything. They're being real quiet, and you getting all these reports. There was a Chinese, executive that's related to a foreign minister in China that says he's dead. You have high-ranking people, big-name people saying that he's dead, so I think that he's probably gone. It's all only a matter of time before they announce it in North Korea, because what they want to do is they want to install Kim Yo-sung, whatever, the sister. They want to install her as a new leader before they tell their people that he's gone. Same thing they did with Kim Jong-un's father. So that's all. It's only a matter of time before they announce it, because they can't just hide it forever. If he's been gone for 3 months without being seen, he's obviously dead. But they don't want to announce it right away. That's just how North Korea is. A weird old communist place. Oh, I got water bottles, but it's just easy to get this out the closet right quick. So yeah, I have water bottles for sure. Alrighty. But what else we got going on? I'm reading some of the comments here. Rapper 10,000 says, have I seen the video of the Chinese man whose skin turned black from a vaccine cure? I have not seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's all kind of things out there people take. Some kind of silver people take. I forgot what it's called, the exact name, but it can do that as well. One guy was on Oprah and he turned blue. I mean, he looked like Papa Smurf. You understand what I'm saying? Old white guy with a beard, white beard, but turned blue. Papa Smurf all day long. Because he was taking that silver stuff for a long time. He thought it was some kind of supplement, some kind of way to keep himself, I don't know, healthy. I'm not sure why he was taking it, but he took so much he turned blue. So that could happen. But yeah, these vaccines can injure you. They can alter you. And I'm not taking it. Like I said earlier, if they offer me a COVID-19 vaccine, I'm going to say, no, thank you. I'm good money. Don't even worry about it. I don't want that at all. Is her name Kim So Young for real? No, it's not. Hold on. I'm going to find her name. Kim. Let's go. Kim Jong-Un's sister. And Kim Yo Jong. Okay, I got it. Okay, so you have Kim Jong-Un, then Kim Yo Jong, then Kim So Song, then Kim Jong Chul. All these names, it's like, can I get an original name? I mean, good grief. You got the same name, just turned around different ways. It's like, can I get more than 8 letters in your, can I get more than the same 8 letters in your name? And can you at least switch them around a little bit? If you're only going to do 8 letters, have a little bit more variety in your name. You understand what I'm saying? These names are crazy. I can't keep up with them at all. Ionic silver, colloidal silver. Was that what it is? How am I saying it? Colloidal silver? I know I'm butchering that. But yeah, that's what the guy was taking and he turned blue. Matter of fact. Okay.
About to see something I've never seen.
Yeah, that's what he was taking. Yep. And this is the guy. If I could put him on the screen. Yeah, that's him right there. Like Papa Smurf all day. Like he turned blue. For real. Like, that's crazy. But that's what some of these things will do to you. So be careful what you take before you take it. Our guy over there, Dr. Eyes, in the cut. Yep. But we are a call-in show. I'm going to get to the calls in just a moment. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And thank you to Nippon, who says, nothing good can come from China, only bad. I'm with you pretty much. Thank you for that. Shout out to Zach, who says, hey, ABL, do you think that when we reopen the schools, we'll finish the current year? No, I don't think so at all. I think they're pretty much done. Because what's the point? School will be over like right now, right? Unless you have year-round school. But if you have year-round school, you didn't miss like, what, 2 months? You cannot get that time back. So you might as well just end it and start the next year. Or have like, I don't know what you're going to do, really. That's a good question because, you know, kids are not having their education the way they're supposed to. You probably got some kind of summer school, something. You need to do something because a lot of these kids are going to be behind now. I mean, because how can they go to the next grade? They've not passed the first grade. I mean, the grade they're in. So next year they got to be promoted to the next grade without actually passing. That's what's going to happen. That's kind of weird because you could fail, but if you did not finish your school year because you couldn't, whose fault is that? You got to get advanced to the next grade. You know, I'm seeing some kids are graduating this school year. How can that be possible? You didn't even finish. But what else are you going to do? It's a weird situation. Okay. And he also said, are the future years going to be online? That's a good question. I think that some school may do some online courses or what they're going to do is this: they're going to have an emergency protocol. So what they'll do is, if there's ever any kind of interruption where you can't be in school for an extended period of time, they'll have you do online courses. But beyond that, now you're mostly going to be in school learning. That's what's going to happen. And I think they'll just probably skip to the next grade without actually finishing the school year right now. That's what's going to happen. And shout out to Han, who says it's actually 3 syllables. The dead guy is, Kim Jong-Un. Each block is a syllable. They have their own writing system. Okay, I got you. I'm with you. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Because I'm seeing it from the English, the American, way we write and the way we talk and our names. So it's different. Thank you for that. Shout out to Jonestown Autopsy, who says, is anyone else daydreaming about power driving Nancy Pelosi off top of a rope, off the top rope, or it's just me? No, it might be just you, sir. I don't have that kind of dream of power driving her from the top rope. But hey, thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And let's get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's start Skype right quick, see if it works. But yeah, will there be a school year after this, or is it going to be over? I think that it's going to be over, because what's the point? You didn't already miss, March, April, maybe even all of May. They're saying there's going to be a lockdown up until June in Virginia. Now, I'm from Virginia. June is when you graduate or when you are done with that current grade. So if you missed March, April, May, and June, how can you get that back? You can't. Go to the next grade. That's all you can do. You can't repeat or get that time back. Summer school, maybe, voluntary summer school. That's all you can really do. There's no other way to get that time back. That's one thing about time. You can't pay $1 to get a second of time. You can't pay any dollar to get a second of time back. It's priceless. You didn't miss 3 months. What are you gonna do? Nippin, what's going on?
Oh, not much.
All right, man. What's happening? Talk to me.
Let me just mute the stream in the background. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, another Democrat has been punished for the crime of saying thank you to Donald Trump.
That's right.
Oh my, look. And the funny thing is, fair play to the person, but if they don't need you, why are you still a registered Democrat?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But you know what? Like I said with Vernon, can't remember his last name, that this person should stay a Democrat and not leave, because her leaving means the Democrats are winning, meaning they can't reform. If you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, the thing about it is they should stay where they are, or it would be good if they did stay where they are, because they'd be able to get some change going on inside the party, which is needed. Because right now the party's going all the way far to the left. So if you have those that are in there that have some kind of common sense, that have some, that are decent people, that can help bring about reform. But if they're not wanted, if they're being forced out, then what are they going to do?
True. They could just go independent. Right, if you don't want to join the Republican Party, you don't have to. But if you don't want it by the Democrats, you might as well become an independent.
That's right.
So yeah, that's one thing. Now Kim Jong-Un might be dead. Let me just get it. He is dead.
You think so?
If we haven't heard from him for over a month, there's only two things: presumed dead, or dead.
Yeah, I think so.
There's no two ways about it.
I think so. Now, okay, if he's dead, what's going to be the next step? Is it going to be a sister that comes in? Will it be China that comes in and does something? What's going to be the next thing for them if he's dead?
Personally, I would like, what do you call it? Can't remember the term for it. A coup d'etat. Yeah, that's something I would like.
Okay.
Like to overthrow the current regime.
See, now that would be a thing, but North Korea, the people are so brainwashed. Unfortunately, that'd be kind of hard to do.
Yeah. You know what? You know what North Korea reminds me of?
What's that?
Spectre. Have you watched any of the Bond movies?
I have seen some. I've not seen that one.
No, it's not. No, I'm not talking about that movie in general. It's an organization that exists within the Bond franchise. It's like a terrorist organization.
Oh, okay.
Run by one man. North Korea reminds me of that organization, and Kim Jong-Un, or whoever leads North Korea, reminds me of that villain.
Okay.
With the cat.
I see.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
So yeah, I do think he's dead. It's only a matter of time before they announce it.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, now the Democrats. No, I've already covered that one. Now over here in the UK, we have reopened some DIY stores. Have you heard of? You know what DIY is?
Yeah, do it yourself, like home improvement stores.
Yeah, precisely. We've reopened some, but not all. Now the government is saying we're not looking to lift the lockdown as of yet, and we don't know when. But it's clear there are signs that by the 7th of May there will be at least some sort of easing of the restrictions. Or, you know what? Like I said in a previous call, if the government do not announce a restriction lift date, I will protest.
I hear you, because I mean that's going to be the ultimate result if if people are going to be just trapped in their houses for a long time, they can't work, they can't do things they got to do to take care of themselves. It's going to be a problem. There's going to be some protests. It's happening here all over the country, reopen protests. And you know what? Some may say, oh, that has no real value. They don't do anything. Well, where I live, you had a protest like yesterday and then last week, and then tomorrow they're opening up stuff like tomorrow. So it's definitely making an impact for sure.
Yeah, there is one. Oh God, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, Donald Trump and his disinfectant joke. Now the Democrats, oh my God, they're saying, oh my God, he's crazy, yeah, and all that stuff. But if you ask a stupid question, you're going to get a stupid answer.
I mean, the thing is, Trump's just actually talking and just throwing things out there, and people just took the whole inject thing and they took it way over the top. It wasn't even that serious. And then some of the things that he was saying were actually making sense and a question sense. It's like, okay, what can we do to treat people with that? Because the guy that was before him talking, Secretary of the DHS, he was saying, okay, we can use Lysol, we can use bleach, we can use these things, disinfectant, UV light to get rid of the virus on surfaces. So we was like, okay, how about in the body? What can we do about that? Just asking questions, saying, okay, doctors can get on it. They can figure out a way to get it done. And that's pretty much it. So it wasn't like, but the media took that, the whole inject thing, and then they said, oh, Trump said drink bleach. They're just taking it and making it go way above and beyond. Then they said that he's incompetent. We should vote the 25th Amendment to get him out of office due to being incompetent. But then those same people will go out and vote for a Joe Biden, a guy who was clearly not there mentally. So it's all a political game at the end of the day.
Yeah. Trump. So yeah, they took it out of context. He never said drink bleach.
Sure didn't. No, he didn't.
And that's about it. What he said. And let's see. Have I?
Well, I got more calls on the lineup, so thank you for the calls always, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. It was nice catching up with you, ABL.
Oh, definitely, man. Always.
I shall speak to you on Thursday.
Thursday your time, Wednesday my time. I got you, boss.
Yep, I'll speak to you then.
All right, talk to you then.
Peace.
Peace. All right, thank you all for being here. If you want to get through Skype, there's the email for that in the description box below, or at least it should be. And the phone lines are jumping. Again, the number to call 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. I'll call you on the line. Who am I speaking to? 917.
Hi, Anthony. Wait, let me shut my TV because I was watching you too at the same time. Hi, Anthony. This is Ray from New York City.
All righty, what's going on?
How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain.
Okay, so I got a couple of things. I want to talk about the Chinese government virus.
Yes.
Okay, and how the doctors are openly admitting. Now, I don't know if it was Fauci. I think it was that other doctor, the one with the scarf. I don't even want to remember her name. I don't want to. I wish I didn't know any of their names. But there's this other doctor with the scarf that's always alongside Fauci that's openly admitted that not every Chinese virus is death is caused by the Chinese virus, COVID. But they are listed as COVID if they happen to die in however they die, car crash, plane crash. If they happen to have the COVID virus, they're considered a COVID death. And this is how they're padding the numbers and counting up and making this seem worse than it really is. Even, I guess they're trying to make it worse than the flu, but according to the numbers that I look at, doesn't seem to be worse than the flu. But, I know I'm pretty upset about that. I know a lot of people that are awake and, really listening have to be pretty upset about that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just something that I think we all knew. That was Dr. Burks. She got on TV and said that, but we all knew that. We all knew that there's a way you can really.
We knew it, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's not right, because there are other reasons why somebody may die. People may already have had a disorder, an underlying condition, and then that might have been why they actually died, just because they have COVID-19.
But they're openly admitting that they're attributing their death to the COVID when it's really not from the COVID. And then the media doesn't even question them. None of the journalists say, oh, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you consider it a COVID death if they died in the plane, if their chest was crushed in a car accident? I mean, none of this makes any sense to me. I feel like it's all some sort of a plan to just drive us all insane so we could just be separate, hate each other. They want people to hate Trump as much as possible. And I'm just very frustrated by that. But I want to continue to hear what you have to say. I'm sorry. I'm upset.
No, I mean, I really do understand. But see, not only is the whole thing about people dying of COVID when they might not die of COVID a thing, they also are not telling you the full numbers. They may say, okay, we have X, Y, and Z number of confirmed cases, but how can you really know how many have it unless you do some actual research, some data, and really figure out, you got to figure out what's going on. Just like those two doctors, I don't know if you saw that particular video, the two doctors, they gave the press briefing. I think they're in California. They are actual doctors that are in the field that work on COVID patients. And then they brought up data, I think from California. They said that there are many more that have the virus than what we know, with the same number of deaths that we know. So let's say even with inflated death numbers of like 1,000, you have 2.1 million people that have it. I mean, that's a very low death rate. It's the equivalent to the flu as far as your death rate is concerned.
Right.
So why are we shutting down the entire world over a thing that's as deadly as the flu? It doesn't make any sense, but that's what the media won't tell you. They won't tell you the full story. They'll tell you half of the story to induce panic. I'm not really sure what for, maybe to give some attention to their media sources and get some ad revenue. And it's really a shame they want to use us and destroy the whole world to make their own selves get some more money and attention. It's really a shame.
Right. They just want to grow government and just keep collecting their paychecks when all of the rest of us are losing I lost my business. I had my own business. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a huge business. I take care of animals, but it was all I had. And I lost every penny because everybody that I took care of, they lost their jobs and they couldn't afford to keep me on. Another thing I want to say is Chris Cuomo, who was, and you had mentioned him, at least, part of what I heard. You had mentioned him. Well, okay, so he was diagnosed with COVID, right?
Yes.
And he was supposed to stay home, and he lectured us. He had some kind of an ad out there where he was lecturing everybody, oh, stay home, don't go out, save lives, just really in an arrogant way he was lecturing us. And then, not long after that ad came out, he was confronted, he was out with his family in a park, and he had no mask, no gloves, nothing. And he was confronted by a local person there, and the person said, I don't know any names, but he said, and you could look this up, but because the guy was already interviewed, I think Tucker Carlson interviewed him. He was confronted by a local man who said, hey, aren't you Chris Cuomo, and don't you have COVID? Shouldn't you be at home? And of course, Cuomo was very rude and arrogant to him, and then he was addressed by the media too about that, and he made some arrogant comment about, I don't need any motor biker, fat tire biker guy, confronting
Yeah, I saw
me.
that.
And I don't know what you saw that, right?
Yeah.
And how dare he? He's lecturing us on staying home and we can't go out. So to me, this just, it's all in the plan. I really don't think this, and I know a lot of people think this way too. None of this was an accident. It was all planned. And this is the way they're going to usher in socialism. They get us holed up in our homes, not working, not having, eventually maybe they'll try to take our guns away. I'm hoping none of this happens, but I can't help but see it in my mind, in my mind's eye. I feel like I can see what's going to happen next. They're still, pushing, oh, no bullets, no guns or whatever. And then they want to disarm us in every way. We have no confidence, no power, no business, no money. And then that's when they'll come in and say, oh, look, we're the government and we're going to hand out money now and you can all just depend on us. But you have to do what we say or then we don't give you anything. That's just my opinion.
I think you're right about that. And I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for listening. It helped me. It really did.
All right, no problem.
To talk to you. Thank you. Okay. Have a good night.
All right, same to you now.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller, and thank you all for joining. There's a whole lot of calls on the line. I'm trying to get to everybody as soon as I can. Y'all hang tight. If you cannot get through, try again. I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. Let's get to the next call. It's 626 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. This is Marina from California. How are you?
I can't complain about yourself.
I'm doing expectably well. I mean, I can't remember what day of the week, what day of the month it is, how long we've been on lockdown, what's been going on.
Yeah, I hear you.
Boy, isn't it buzzing today?
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I live in California. You already talked about the California doctors and how they've talked about the numbers. And wasn't that a beautiful interview to watch? Oh,
it was great. I watched the whole thing because I couldn't do the show last night because my internet was off. And my phone still had data. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a little time, watch this whole thing all the way through. And it was great because they answered all the questions appropriately. They were trying to get attacked from the reporters. They didn't let it bother them. And they gave all the information and data. It wasn't a partisan thing like left, right. It was just straight information and straight facts that you can't really argue or ignore.
If you're an equal, if you're a level-headed human being, you listen to them and you thought these are two beautiful human beings telling the truth, speaking in a very eloquent way, giving us numbers because they are in the front line. Who else do we trust but people who are in the front line? They did say Fauci has not treated a patient in over 20 years, and we are here treating them 24/7.
That's right, exactly. And it gives them more credibility in my eyes because Fauci can say what he says, like they said from the ivory tower, okay, looking down upon the peons of the world, it's easy for him to say that up there. But then when you actually in the thick of it, you know, talking to people, treating people, your world is much different and you see things from a different point of view. They need to have more of that in Trump's team rather than the academic types who are not really on the front lines getting things done, in my humble opinion.
No, your humble opinion is a very legitimate and very honest and very credible opinion.
Thank you.
As most human beings who think with, again, a level-headed mind. Another thing, my husband and I are listening to this interview, and we're like, wow, that's beautiful, beautiful. And then all of a sudden the reporters would jump in. Oh, but, what in the heck? Then the doctors would be like, hold on, okay, let me tell you. And these are the numbers. This is the data. We are the ones that are receiving the most testing. We are the ones producing the most testing. We are the ones doing the most. It is coming from us. The data that everybody receives comes from us. Oh, well, I read somewhere, son of a gun. My husband and I wanted to jump over over our phones. We were watching it. We were like, oh, my God. We couldn't believe it. The reporters, instead of taking the information, instead of running with it, are trying to shut it down. Why is that? Oh my God! If we don't know why, then we're not woke enough. You know what I mean?
That's right.
If you don't know why the reporters aren't trying to shut the information down, then you're awake at the wheel. I mean, you're asleep at the wheel. You know?
Absolutely.
But listen, I mean, we already talked about that, and I think if I was talking about the same thing over and over, I'd be sick of it. I want to talk to you about the people from the Islamic Care Group who are claiming victory because now, for the first time ever in America, the call for prayer is being broadcasted over the airs, and they are calling themselves victorious.
Yeah, now I saw
What
that.
say you?
That was crazy. Now, that was in, what was it, Minneapolis, or was that in different places?
Yes, of course. Yes, over on the Honorable Omar's district.
Yeah. See, they're saying victory because they feel like they're encroaching more and more upon American society with their particular religion, and that's what they want. They want to take over. They want to have little strongholds and then kind of expand from there. And then the loudspeaker stuff, you have to kind of experience it whether you want to or not. And that's not right. That's just not really what it is. Now, some are going to say, what about church bells? It's like, nah, come on. Like, ain't no prayer being broadcast over a loudspeaker. A bell is a bell is a bell. It's just like the hour on a clock, like a clock bell. It's not like a la, it's not all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan of that at all. But this is what happens when this kind of stuff is allowed just to persist, when there's no kickback and everybody's pretty much on board and everybody says it's a good thing. A lot of the left say it's a good thing. And here we are. It's really a shame. But my hope is that it does not really get beyond these little enclaves around the country, like Minneapolis, even though it's a big city.
Well, of course,
hopefully,
it's now in Texas. I don't know if you saw the the new judge that got voted in Texas, and she got sworn in over the Quran. And on her Facebook, she posted She posted two pictures on her Facebook. She posted one picture of her with her group, after she'd been sworn in over the Quran, and then she posted a picture of the Quran on the judge's table.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, but not surprised. I've seen that before. This is what happens.
And the liberals are like, oh, this is such a beautiful thing. This is such a gorgeous, honorable, beautiful, holy thing. God bless them. God bless them. Good for them. Oh, this is wonderful. This is beautiful. It's like, okay, well, good for you guys. Let's keep this going. This is going to be a beautiful thing to happen to us because, it's not like they're infiltrating us from within. But whatever.
Right.
Says I.
Right.
I'm just so upset today. Oh, my God. Today's a bad day.
I hear you. I'm right there with you.
But I'm so happy that you're fine, ABL. I know you're going through a lot of stuff with your town and the thing that happened in your town, and we're praying for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me because there's a whole lot of things going on. People are really suffering. People still don't have power yet today. So, yeah, it's pretty bad in some spots of the town.
Yeah, God bless you guys. We're praying for you, and just keep us above. And another thing, my husband would absolutely hurt me if I didn't ask you because a long time ago I spoke to you when you were coming to California. Is it still a hush-hush thing about why you came to California?
Oh, I can't. I was in California because I was filming for this company called Jubilee.
Okay.
and they're on YouTube. You can see it right now. And the episode we did was Black conservatives versus Black liberals. So
Oh.
yeah, it wasn't really it was more of a conversation. It got to like some debate parts, but it was more of a conversation. It's on YouTube right now. I think it has like 1.5 million views, so it did pretty well. That's why I was out there to film that.
Okay, so how do I find that? Because I'm going to.
Just search Jubilee Media, and you'll see their channel come up, and you'll see the video close to the top of the most recent videos.
Okay, well, we missed meeting up with you. We would have loved it, but, God bless you. God bless everybody else who's listening. Everybody stay strong, stay with it. And, again, this is just the flu for the Lord, for the name of God. And, whatever. Let the liberals do whatever they're going to do. And God bless America.
Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Bye, ABL.
I know. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate her. But yeah, that video is doing pretty well from Jubilee. The conservative liberal little quote unquote debate. It wasn't a debate. It like they told me before I started filming, they were like, look, we want to just have a conversation. We don't want to get out of control, no real debate. And I was like, okay, I got you. Because if I'm going to debate, I'm dominating the entire conversation. In that particular group, I would have been the dominant voice. All you would have heard was me talking like I'm talking right now in my same level of voice, just over everybody else. It wouldn't have been fair. So I let everybody get their point across, and I was being diplomatic. I was not in my debate mode. If I was in debate mode, everybody just would have got clobbered. Left, right, I don't care. It would have just been a street sweeper. But let me get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All right, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, how you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, I flew to Texas. I just got back yesterday from Seattle to Texas, and it was quite an experience.
Oh, so how was the flight and everything? Like, tell me about it.
The flight crew, there were people wearing full hazmat suits at the terminal.
Wow.
Yeah. The people in Texas didn't have hazmat suits on. The people in Seattle looked like it was going to be a biological, it's like Ronin or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I went down and I visited Ross Perot's outfit and did some aircraft surveys and stuff like that, and came back. And people were really surprised that I was flying. They're like, "Are you essential?" And I'm like, "To me, I'm essential." I would burn through Trump's bailout check in about a week. I think there's no small business that's going to be able to survive on like $1,200. I mean, that's insane.
Nah, not at all. Now, was the flight pretty much empty? Were you the only guy on there aside from the crew?
So it was on the way out, it was a 737, and on the way back, it was a 737, and the center two aisles all the way front to back on the way out were were empty, but all rows had people on the windows. So every window seat had someone in it.
Okay.
So I estimate maybe 30-something people on the plane.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And on the way back, there might have been 15 people on the whole aircraft.
Wow.
And in Dallas-Fort Worth, which is a hub, seeing the planes parked out there was pretty, the ones that are just kind of in a holding pattern was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Zero Hedge actually has a pretty good article on the two doctors that you were interviewing. It was very, I haven't listened to them yet, but Zero Hedge kind of focused in on something that they said about herd immunity, and about how because we're quarantining, we don't have herd immunity to other diseases. Exactly.
Because when we go out after the quarantine is over, now we're more prone to catching other things like the flu, the cold, and everything else.
Yeah, and so some of the latest data out of California suggests that about 1 in 6 people have had the coronavirus, which is way more the infection rate than what they thought. And those two doctors kind of went into the whole thing, and they explained that something to the effect of, hey, the more people that have the antibodies that have had the disease, basically it drastically reduces the more, because of the inverse law correlation between the two. It drastically reduces the morbidity rate of it. So about 4 weeks ago, or maybe about 3 weeks ago, the morbidity was estimated to be 4.6%, and the flu year over year is about 0.2 to 0.3%, which is several orders of magnitude more than 10. The morbidity rate this week has been reduced to about 0.5%, based on just California. And if we look at the latest stuff coming out of New York, where they, instead of 1 in 6 having it, they think one in 3 people almost have had coronavirus, which would drastically reduce the morbidity rate even further. Meaning that basically COVID is at best twice as bad as the flu, but it only affects people with comorbidities like obesity and being old. So in a lot of ways, it's better than the flu. It's more safe.
It's kind of easier to predict who's going to have problems from it. I mean, we know, okay, if you have any kind of underlying health condition, you got heart disease, diabetes, etc. Okay, maybe you should just keep careful and keep away from the crowds. But the rest of us that are relatively healthy, we can just go about our normal lives, build up the herd immunity, and then when we go out there and go about our everyday lives, we'll be less likely to catch it. So it'll be better. But what we're doing right now with the self-quarantining is not a very good thing for our health in the long run.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think the worst is like in terms of like the side effects of the quarantine are to come. I had one of my colleagues was from Britain, and we had an interesting discussion on science in general. The Dunning-Kruger effect is an interesting graph. You can't unsee it. Once you see it, it basically pertains to how much knowledge you have versus what your level of confidence is. You maybe bring it up for your viewers. It's a good graph. But we had talked about the ozone layer and basically the Montreal Accord, where the CFCs and everything like that. Because on aircraft we need halon fire extinguishers. So halon has been determined to destroy the ozone layer. So we basically all of aviation industries were using fire extinguishers that are illegal. You can't get new halon. We have to recycle it. But now that these studies have come out, they've overstated the effect that CFCs have had on the atmosphere by more than 25 times, meaning that they discovered there was an ozone layer. Then they were like, oh, for some reason there's a hole in the ozone layer, which they never even knew there was an ozone layer. They never knew that holes would come into existence. So they said, we must have caused this. And then they come up with, they ban the CFCs, they've jumped to conclusions and without having all the information. And now they don't know why the hole in the ozone layer has closed up prematurely.
Right.
Like this shouldn't have happened. And I think the same thing's going on with this COVID. They say, hey, we now have all these testing and there could be a plague that's coming, and they're using science that isn't mature to jump to conclusions to say we all should quarantine.
Yeah, the graphs were all wrong. The models were all wrong. They say even with, even with quarantine and distancing, you would still have 200,000 deaths if it was a good day. Like if it was a good outcome, 200,000. We're nowhere near that, like at all, and it's not going to be anywhere near that. So, like all of it was wrong. And before that, they were saying millions. Like this whole thing has just been wrong from the beginning.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, week over week it changes, and they don't ever go back and sort of read their own stuff from the week before. I read an article today that was pointing out that Sweden has failed because they have, I think maybe about 6 times the infection rate as some of the other Scandinavian countries. And I'm like, that's the whole point of herd immunity, is you get out there and you share it. That's part of it, of not quarantining. Of course, the infection rate's going to be higher, and when you read these news stories, be real wary of, and when it comes to deaths, they'll say, well, the United States has got more deaths than anybody, but not per capita.
Right, exactly.
And then when they complain about there not being enough tests, they'll use the nominal amounts when they compare the number of tests to other countries. Well, we've got more per capita. These statisticians, they're liars, and they'll say anything to make the administration look bad. People are actually happy. I mean, even though this hydroxychloroquine is 91% effective according to a study, and if you look at the studies where they've had to stop it or they say they kill people, those people are already intubated. They already got a tube down their throat. They're old. They already have cardio problems and other comorbidities. But if you've got COVID and you test positive for it, you take hydroxychloroquine, 91% effective, no symptoms. It's a cure.
Right.
I mean,
right. Exactly.
We don't even have that for the flu. So please keep up the good show. I wanted to leave you with a quote from Ross Perot. The guy's got his own bag. Eagles don't flock. You have to find them one at a time. I really thought that was something, and I really appreciated meeting his people and getting this magazine. But take it easy.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, great call from my man, Matt. Thank you for that. That was a great quote from Ross Perot as well. Shout out to Ross Perot. Is he still living, Ross Perot? Hold on. I think Ross Perot passed. Yeah, he died last year, actually. That's right. I remember that. Yeah, R.I.P. Ross Perot. All right, let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to do Skype, there is an email for that in the description box below this video. Click on show more. It'll be right there, right in front of your face. But let me get to the next call. 301, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, let me I have to mute my computer. Sorry. Yeah, man, it's good to Ben Bussey from Tacoma Park, Maryland, and I just joined the calls. Well, the calls are very solemn. What they speak of, the ladies that called in earlier, what they say is going on in New York, and the other lady that called, oh man, some powerful stuff. And I look at you as a person who sees what's going on in the world and the real deal of what's happening and how the game is played. And it's not really a game because it's just a tragedy, really. And all the people that are calling in and getting their points of view from where they're at and what they see, and we're all in this mix right now together. And it's real. I mean, it's a global thing. So I want, and the ladies, what about the ladies with the Bible, the Qurans, and how they injecting the Quran into the United States, and how she put her hand on something real deep is going on. And I want to kick it just from a spiritual point. And what I can say, I believe what I say can be backed up. It's in a book, and y'all all know the book that I'm talking about. But there's a word called tribulation. So tribulation is a 7-year time period where there's going to be a time like no other of all time. And what's happening is, so what I'm saying is, that before there's a 7-year tribulation, there's going to be a pre-tribulation. See, right now, and if I could be wrong, right now, and you bring forth a lot of evidence that would justify me saying what I'm about to say. Because you bring up, because look at, if we're in the situation that we're in, and right now the media is winning, the Democrats are winning. If we're in a war, it's a war of life and death. So the media is winning. And you see the game that the media is playing, their lies and all that stuff, and you bring about people who counter their lies. And we see how the news media is a fake news media, how they end on this thing, man. You talk about Ocasio, she talking about people don't go back to work. And we got other people like you, like Patricia Dixon, Officer Tatum, the Hodges brothers. Y'all bringing some real reality. And it's tragic because it's tragic. It's people suffering now. So when I say now, so this might sound deep to a lot of people, but check it out. Tribulation, check out the definition, Google it. And then consider pre-tribulation, that which comes before. So we got to be, so right now, if everything is like the way it is, we're all being taken down this road, because if we keep on this path, it's going to end in utter chaos. That's death, destruction. And here's the irony, and I'll let you go on this, man, and I appreciate all the people that called, and here's the irony of it all, that, and also the tribulation is going to be set in the modern time, the time that is now. And when it kicks in, and we see the technology, there's going to be a time where people are going to have to take what they call a mark, and they won't be able to buy and sell without that mark. Now, here's what they're talking about. I heard something about this virus. They want to make this vaccine, I guess Bill Gates is in on it, a lot of dark stuff going on there. They want to make this vaccine universal because everybody has to take it. And see, right now, they're conditioning us to be compliant, 6 feet apart, social distancing. They say working this thing, they're working this backwards. And so I just wanted to say the last thing. I think I probably forgot what I was going to say, is that just check out tribulation and pre-tribulation, man, and check out the solution that was given for it. And I thank you for your call, and keep bringing the real, because you got me thinking, man. I love you, brother. Bye now.
Thank you for that, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to my man for the call. Definitely appreciate him. Very good call. I appreciated the very kind words, man. For real, seriously, it means a lot to me. And the lines are jumping. I'm gonna try to get everybody on as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight, keep on calling. If you can't get in once, try again. I'm gonna try to get you on ASAP. 804, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is Mike calling from Virginia. How's it going?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain about yourself.
Pretty good, man. I heard you talking earlier about, everybody having to stay inside and missing the sunlight and this type of stuff. So I Googled some stuff, and I want to read this to you. What is Operation Solar Shield? Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, to help cool the planet, some scientists are proposing the use of solar geoengineering, a method in which chemicals are sprayed into the atmosphere to reflect the sun rays back into space. A team of Harvard scientists plan on starting a real-world solar geoengineering study in early 2019. And then, I scroll on down, this is in Yahoo News. Bill Gates is planning to back the climate change, Bill Gates is behind it. It's in Forbes magazine. That's crazy, ain't it?
It is, yes.
Yep, that's all I wanted to throw out there, man.
Well, thank you for that, man. I never heard that before. I'm going to look into it, man. It sounds really interesting. Thank you for your call.
No problem, man. Take care.
All right, now.
Bye.
Yeah, great info right there. Hey, I learned something new today. Never heard of that. I'm going to look into it for sure. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, sorry for hitting the microphone. 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. And let's go 276. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, this is TJ from the Roanoke Valley area of Virginia.
All righty, TJ, what's going on?
Not a lot, just admiring the crazy from afar, or at least trying to stay from afar from it.
Yeah, I hear you on that one for sure.
I do have to ask permission to make an inflammatory comment or two.
Well, okay, it depends on what you got to say, man. Let's hear it.
All right, so Dr. Fauci, they seem to be demonstrating from previous video clips that they are putting up on YouTube, hither, thither, and yonder, some of them 4 years or older, working with, the Chinese government and some of their viral warfare. The man's got more ties to China than Walmart has in the men's section. I'm just saying, how come no one is calling him out on that? I hear, through, InfoWars, take that with a grain of salt, that he's being investigated on that, yet the man's still in charge of our response, and we're still responding a little sharply much over this issue. And they still haven't released us in Virginia from some of their restrictions. And I haven't heard of anyone lately getting a misdemeanor for, just living, but, it's still pretty tight around here.
Yeah, I can imagine, I got family in Roanoke. I know how it is in Virginia all around. And then, matter of fact, I talked to my mom today. She said that the lockdown is still going on until, June? Is that right?
That's what they're saying. They were talking about starting a partial release next week, but they haven't actually confirmed that for sure. And as far as I know, they haven't actually announced what they're going to open up yet. So who knows if they're actually going to start releasing this coming week or not.
Yeah, they need to, because the longer this keeps going on, the more we'll suffer as regular people. People that are saying lockdown, don't leave your house, those that are behind the whole thing, those that are in power, they're still working. So it's okay for them. But people that aren't working as a result are going to be in really dire straits. I mean, I'm seeing some of these food line videos all over the internet, and it's crazy. It was one in Ohio. It was 1,600 cars minimum out there at one food bank trying to get a bag of food, and you're seeing it all over the nation. That's not sustainable. That's got to come to an end, and it needs to happen sooner than later because we can't do too much more of this.
Well, ironically enough, some of the hoarding has dropped off a whole lot, but it's still kind of hard to get toilet paper at times, which is, really funny.
Yeah.
There's like so many jokes there. I mean, you can go on memes, right? You can go looking for memes right now that, will just about knock you down. But, I have to say that, I know several businesses that I'm not sure is going to be able to reopen when they reopen. I'm talking about a lot of people out of work in this area that really were doing pretty good before this. And you got to kind of wonder exactly what the governor's goal was, because if he wanted to break the economy of the entire state, he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But he hasn't protected anybody, considering that in January and February, people were ill a lot. It was like, everyone thought it was the flu, except it kept testing negative for the flu. Mm-hmm. But it was straight up the textbook symptoms they list for your COVID-19. And then in March, when it's already passed and over, then the governor's going to panic and announce a lockdown. I'm like, son, you are about 2 months too late.
Right, exactly. It's been going on. Same thing here in Tennessee. I mean, people had it. Georgia, same thing, because, the travel from China did not get stopped until end of January. And so from when it started in Hubei, Wuhan province in China, that was November or December of last year. So from November up until almost February, you still got incoming flights straight to Hartsfield Jackson, LaGuardia, LAX, and they're going all over the country. So people had it for a while as early as last year. So now you want to start doing some things to try and curb and slow the spread. It's too late. People already got it. And there's much more people that have it than we actually know, which is why you got all these studies coming out talking about, 1/3 of New Yorkers have it, a fifth of Californians. We're doing things that don't even make sense to help with the spread of the virus at all.
Right. Yeah, and no one's talking about how they talked about putting a stop on those flights earlier from Wuhan because the LAX connects directly to the international airport in Wuhan, and China said no, and they're like, oh, well, maybe we'll just wait. What are they waiting for? Seriously.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah, it just, and also it seems like such an exaggerated response considering the level that the illness actually was. Why are they responding like this, and why is it dragging on? I've got a lot of questions, and it doesn't seem to there are no forthcoming answers so far that I've been able to dig up, and I've been looking.
Me too. I'm right there with you.
Indeed. Thank you for doing what you're doing, brother, and keep doing it.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll be praying for you, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, this virus has been here for a long time. That's why everybody has it already. That's why you got such high rates of people that actually have the antibody in their system, because we already didn't had it. We already have had it. I probably already didn't had it and didn't know it, asymptomatic. People that I know have already had it. So it's not anything that's new. Like you said, people were having it and they said that it wasn't the flu. Unknown respiratory illness. So what was it? All the COVID-19 symptoms, we already didn't had it. People had it and beat it. Some, unfortunately, did not beat it. But that's just with the flu every year anyway. So it is what it is. Let me get to the next call. 712, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. This is Alan from Iowa.
All right.
I was going to talk to you a little bit about, let me see, AOC. What was it she just recently say? Oh, that we shouldn't go back to work.
Yeah.
New Yorkers, I thought you were smarter than that. I mean, come on. This woman, this is, okay, if we don't go to work, what's going to happen? We're going to starve. Now, there's been some stuff that's gone overseas a little bit. I don't know if not too many people heard about it, but there's like a lot of locusts are flying around, eating up all the crops. You've got basically there's some starvation. It's actually UN came out with something, if I remember, not too long ago. I think it was just this last week that they said something about that there's going to be major supply problems. AOC, this is probably one of the most stupidest things you ever said. That let's just don't. I mean, we also try to feed the world a little bit here. Of course, we're going to have to take care of ourselves. You know, we got being here in this Iowa area, we've got a couple pork plants and beef plants that are kind of getting hit a little bit here. So this is not a time to not to go to work. We need to go to work and get things going. So that's why one of the biggest things I want to say. Then, have you heard about this Harvard law professor saying something about homeschooling's not good or shouldn't be in the hands of the parents? Have you heard anything about that?
I think I did hear something about that. Yeah.
I don't know if you did a video on her or not, but you talk about you know what this is why I think President Trump should run on this a little bit harder. Is that we should have a choice. I mean, my kids are all grown out of the house, but there should be a choice to where a parent should have a right to decide where to go. Now, if that parent decides, you know what, I'm going to keep my child at home, they do learn pretty good at home. They might not have quite all the social skills, but what do I want my kids to go to school for anyway? To learn that I've got two mommies or I got two daddies. Excuse me for saying it, but that's not exactly good family values. So, learning all this other transgender and all this other crap. So, with her saying that, she wants to keep the public in control of basically teaching our kids and my grandkids, for instance. And I don't see that that's any of their business. I'll do what I can to raise my children, and yet when this thing's all kind of over with, this COVID a little bit, there's going to be probably parents are going to be more home than before, and hopefully maybe we can get back a little bit to where our parents are teaching the kids, instead of sitting down around the watching the TV, which I've always, when I was on the road a lot when I was growing up, and when I was raising my kids. But when I came home, we sat at the table and we ate. We talked to each other. That was a time for family. So hopefully we can get back a little bit to this. But besides that, ABL, I've always liked your show. You've always been I really like your format you have here. I've always said that. Ditto. And I thank you for talking to me and listening to me.
Well, thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you, sir.
All right, great call from my man. And shout out to all you guys. Shout out to all the new callers, all the consistent callers. I appreciate all you guys. And the phone lines are jumping off the hook. I'm going to try to get to you guys as soon as possible. If you are not able to get through, please try again. I will try to get to you as soon as possible. But let's get to the next call. And let's go. 580, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Kelly from Oklahoma. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. About yourself?
Oh, I'm better this week than last week. I've got an interesting story for you.
All righty, let's hear it.
Last weekend, I had to go to the emergency room, which right now everybody's scared to do, but I had kidney stones. So, of course, they won't let my husband go in with me, and went through, have to put the mask on and go through all that you go through. However, there was not one other person, not one, in the emergency room but me.
Wow.
And then when I had to go to a different hospital because the urologist was at another hospital, and I had to have a procedure. So they sent me to the second hospital. Not one person in that hospital. And I'm talking Metro Oklahoma City. So I was put in the hospital. Spent the night. Not one of my nurses wore a mask. Not one.
Wow.
And I didn't care. I wasn't sick, but I asked them. I'm like, I'm surprised you guys aren't wearing masks. And they just kind of said, yeah, we're not. Do you want us to put one on? Are you uncomfortable? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I mean, I'm in pain, but I don't got the Rona.
Right, exactly.
And so the entire stay, not one nurse had on a mask. And I said, and I mean, they were so attentive to me because there was hardly anyone there. So the only people that wore a mask, which was so interesting, were in the OR, in the operating room, which is fine. I understand. You go down there, everybody has their masks on. So as I'm being released last Sunday evening, the male nurse who's taking me out, he didn't have on a mask, and I hadn't seen him during my stay. And I'm like, do you not wear a mask either? And he's like, no, but I will if you're uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And I said, well, I haven't seen you. And he said, yeah, I'm pretty mad. He said, I've been laid off for 2 weeks. And he said, they just sent me home. And I said, well, why didn't they send you to some hospital where the pandemic and the chaotic frenzy and the overwork and we don't have enough staff? Why didn't they send you to one of those hospitals? And he laughed and he said, because there aren't any.
Hey, you're hearing straight from the horse's mouth, straight from them. They're telling you the truth, and that's what the media, they don't want to show. They don't want to show people on the actual ground that are dealing with it in a serious way all over the nation, because it would destroy the narrative. That's crazy, but that's the reality.
But I have been able to tell people, no, it's not like that. So I just thought that was, unfortunate event for me. I wouldn't want to redo it last weekend. It was tough. But that's what it looked like inside of 2 hospitals in the metro.
Wow. Well, hey,
interesting, huh?
Very interesting. It says a lot about what's really going on. That's contrary to what I'm being told every day by the mainstream media, trying to scare me to death when I know it's not the truth.
Right. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to tell you. I thought it was an interesting story.
Well, thank you for your call and sharing that. I really appreciate you.
Yes, and you are hard to get into.
Yeah, I know it, but
ABL.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, be blessed.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. And shout out to everybody that's trying to call in. Like she said, it's kind of hard to get in, but if you were not able to get on, just keep trying. I'm going to try to get you on as soon as I can. Yeah, but this whole thing with the ERs being overwhelmed is not true. They laid off 30,000 people in Virginia in the healthcare industry alone. In one state, 30,000 people in the healthcare industry. And then here comes Governor Blackface talking about, oh, can we get 30,000 volunteers to help with the coronavirus? Like, what you need volunteers for? Number one, excuse me, there's no problem with the virus in Virginia, really. And number two, you had 30,000 that were working. So you want the same people to come back and work for free? Why? They got kids to feed and houses and mortgages and everything else. Why would they work for free? It doesn't make any sense. But let me get to the next call. Let's go. Hold on here. 817, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello, Anthony. Let me mute the sound here right quick. I can't believe I got through, considering there's almost 1,400 people watching right now.
Well, I'm glad you're able to get through, man. So what's on your mind?
Well, a couple of things. A caller much earlier was talking about the inflated death rate, the inflated numbers and stuff. I've been seeing a lot of stuff related to that. And at first, when they shut down everything, I thought they were doing it in good faith, like to protect us or whatever. But now I don't think this is a good faith thing. I think this is an agenda-backed thing. I think they planned it years ago. Have you seen the clip of Fauci saying there will be a surprise outbreak during the next administration? back in January of 2017 before Trump was inaugurated?
I'm not surprised at that being said, because I wouldn't be surprised if he knew that this kind of thing was going on as far as China and them having some of these dangerous viruses in their lab and not really being careful with it. I wouldn't be surprised. And he probably didn't say anything about it. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, I'm not saying he did know anything, but if he did, I wouldn't be surprised at all. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, well, there's a video of him giving an address at Georgetown University, and they showed the date, January 10th, 2017. I thought that was before Trump was inaugurated, and he said there will be a surprise outbreak in next administration. And I thought, well, if he had said within the next 100 years, I'd say, yeah, probably. And within the next 50 years, well, maybe. But within the next administration, within the next 4 years, does this guy have a crystal ball, or what's going on here?
Yeah, that's oddly specific, to be able to pinpoint it to that level of, and to be accurate, because he was right. It wasn't just kind of an offhand remark. He was 100% correct. So, like I said, if he were to be found to have information about this before it happened, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because, I mean, you're a little bit too accurate. You could have said, well, there could be a pandemic in the future we need to be prepared for. That'd be a general statement. But to say in the next term, that's crazy.
Yeah, and he prefaced it with something like, there's no doubt, or I can't remember specifically what he said, but or make no mistake, or one of those type of phrases, It kind of remind me of Joe Namath guaranteeing that he was going to win the Super Bowl. It's like, how can you be so sure, and how can you be so specific? It just, this whole thing reeks. It smells, and then they're inflating the death numbers. Like I saw the guidelines that were given out for death certificates where they said if you assume that COVID contributed to the death and put it down. I saw an interview with a doctor saying, we've never done this before. If somebody died with pneumonia, we just put pneumonia. We did not test them for the flu during a flu outbreak and try to add that in.
Right, yep. And that they're inflating the death numbers but deflating the number of infected. They're not telling the whole story. Right, so they want to have the numbers be just to use to fit the narrative, to say, oh, we have a very high death rate. It's much more than the flu. Everything's shut down, kill the whole economy because of lies. And it's really a shame what they've done to our nation and the world.
Yes, and it's worldwide. That's another thing. I have people that I know in the Netherlands and France, and there's a lady I follow on Facebook that's in Russia, and they're all talking about shutdowns and this, that, and the other. And I thought, gosh, it's not just us. It's other countries too.
That's right. Exactly. It's all over the world. They're talking about a famine could come as a result of this, like millions starving. It's crazy.
Yeah. I saw a good meme on Facebook just a little while ago. It said, is there a tax I can pay to stop COVID, or does that only work for global warming?
That's a good one. That's a great one.
Yeah. Well, oh gosh, I wish I had more on my mind, but maybe I should write and take notes, like an outline or something, before I call you, so then I'm ready. But then I'm so shocked when I actually get through. So, well, it is what it is. But it's always good to talk to you. I enjoy your show, and you put out great content, and just keep up the good work, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, have a good evening.
Same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. All righty, now let's get to the next call. Let's go 323. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yo. Snap's looking really. What's going on?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Hey, just chilling on a Sunday.
No doubt.
Well, first thing I want to know, did you hear about that clinic that was raided by the FBI because they were giving people vitamin C injections?
They were doing what now?
The FBI raided a clinic that was giving people vitamin C injections.
I think I heard about that, but I didn't see the full story. So what's going on with that situation?
Well, there was this doctor that was advertising for people who are essential workers can come to his clinic and get vitamin C injections for free to help boost the immune system while they're out there working, being exposed to the so-called pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was advertising on TV. So what they did was they raided his clinic in hazmat suits.
Wow.
An HRT team. You're talking about HRT, the hostage rescue team for the FBI. Why would they need to send such an elite unit to a clinic where a doctor is advertising on TV? Like, he has no nefarious intentions. He's just telling people, hey, you're out there working. Come get your immune system boosted for free with vitamin C. And I don't know if you heard, but there were doctors in China that were giving people intravenous vitamin C that had the COVID-19, and it helped them. It helped them recover from it. So my question is, why is the FBI raiding clinics for giving people vitamin C when you can buy vitamin C online, when you can go to the store down the street and buy vitamin C, when you can go to CVS, get a bag of saline, right? Get your own needles. You can do it yourself. Why are we doing this?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for you.
but see, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, all these things that we're witnessing with the inflated numbers, with the ridiculous lockdown, with arresting people, raiding clinics for giving people vitamin C. We're sitting back in our houses and watching this happen all around us. We know they're lying. We know that they're full of crap. We know that Trump's own appointed task force is full of crap. We know that Fauci's a criminal, allegedly. And what are we still sitting in the house for? What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for Trump to say, hey, go? What are we waiting on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is what I be saying about relying on politicians celebrities, and all these other type of people to come up and do things for us, when we should just be going and doing it. Like I said in the super chat, like we can't. The more we ask for these people to do stuff for us, the more we ask for them to allow us to live our lives, the more that we ask for them to give us our rights back, it's not going to happen. We just got to go out and get it. You know, peaceful assembly, non-violently, of course. But why aren't we doing that when we know they're full of crap? You know?
Yeah.
And so people, all right, look, cats like you and Brandon Tatum, right? And Amazing Lucas and all, all you guys have very powerful voices, man. You have a huge following, and you reach many people, and people listen to you guys because you're intelligent, and you guys see the writing on the wall for the most part, right? And I feel like if you guys put your heads together, you guys can really move something in terms of getting people in a freedom mind state. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Because
if we wait for the bureaucracy, if we go through the bureaucracy to do it, if we go through their system to try to get things done, we're swimming against the tide, man. We're swimming upstream, like the salmon do. Except the salmon are way better at swimming upstream. You know what I mean? So, what do you think about that, man? I think y'all should put y'all heads together, really, because you guys can organize movements for sure, right? Blexit, Turning Point, all these different movements, right? To get people to wake up to how the left is full of crap and they don't really care about black folks, right? They're just using us for power. Well, what if you guys steer them in the direction of freedom first, and then maybe if Trump makes something happen, he makes something happen, that's great. But if he doesn't,
well, here's a question for you. What's the next step? If Trump is not doing what should be done, what's the next step?
What's the next step? I mean, the next step is to demand that we decentralize the federal government. So however we got to do it, however we have to do it, because Okay, so I can see the things that Trump has done, right? Like black unemployment going up, all these elite pedophile rings getting broken down. All that is great, right? But again, like I said before, he can only do so much if he's really about that life. There's only so you guys know it, Brandon. You know it. You know there's only so much you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to, it's kind of like they say in the Bible. I'm not religious, but what they say, faith without works is dead, right? So what I'm saying is we have to start doing the work ourselves. And if there is people in the government that are on our side, they can see that we're actually okay. If something goes down, they got our back.
Right.
And that's how we have to operate in regards to getting these businesses back online, right? Not only do we patronize the business once they go back into business on their own accord as free men and women, if they are attacked or if somebody comes at them, they have to know that we got their back, that we can back them up. They can make a phone call and we're down at their store to help to defend them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how you get things done. Go back to work, and that's what these business owners are afraid of. All right, I'll go back into business. I'll open my business back up, and they're going to shut my power off, or they're going to come send the police down here, and no one's going to be there for me. You know what I mean? Or the customers in my store are just going to leave when they show up. They have to know we have their back when push comes to shove. Like, no, you're not going to shut anything down. What are you going to do, arrest 100, 200 people at this store?
I see where you're coming from.
We have to move something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But protesting going to the Capitol, they love it. It justifies their job. Okay. We treat them like slaves, and when they want something, they come beg us for it and hold up signs at our Capitol. That's not very productive at all, man. But if they see stores is opening up, like, what are you doing? And they send law enforcement down there, and then people are like, what you gonna do about it? You gonna arrest it? What you gonna arrest us for? Because all these laws they're putting out there are arbitrary, and this National Health Emergencies Powers Act that they implemented is illegal. It's unconstitutional. They don't have anything to back. If we have to go to court for it, oh well. At the end of the day, we know that everything they're doing is unconstitutional. Everything they're doing is against our rights. It doesn't matter if it's constitutional or not. That's another thing. The Constitution does not grant us rights. It just recognizes the rights we have. So we have to go in there knowing that, okay, you can tear the Constitution up. You can set it on fire. You can delete all records of it. We still have our rights. And that's how we have to operate. That's how I feel like we need to get things done. Because this right here, I mean, everybody knows it. Like, everybody sees it. If you see it and they're throwing it in our face and they're flaunting it in front of our face every day, and we're still sitting down, what else can they do? What's going to happen next time when this second wave comes up?
Yeah, I'm with you. I see where you're coming from, man. Like, I really do. I really do understand, because the second wave, if there's a second wave and they try to say shut down again, like, I think at that point you're going to see a collective, not just people that may listen to this right here, but just people, just regular people. They're going to say nope, not having it. And then I think even already, like out where I am, a lot of the police aren't really enforcing certain things. They're just kind of letting things slide, and that's going to end up happening. Just people as a whole going to come together, man. But hey, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. No problem, man. Peace.
All right, peace. Yeah, shout out to the caller, Snap Turtle. Yeah, I'm already seeing like a lot of police. They're not even really with it, and I think that's going to be the end result. Now, if you got the FBI coming to your door, what are you really going to do? It's not a whole lot you can do, but what if the FBI says, you know what, nah. What if the police say, you know what, nah, what if we're all together, law enforcement, military, regular citizens, we're all together against just a few that are saying do X, Y, and Z? What are they going to do? That's what it's going to take. All people to come together and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to operate. That's going to have to be what it is. Not like some kind of insurgents against the government. It's got to be cooperation. It's got to be, you got to have both sides on the same page. In my humble opinion, that's going to be the way you really go forward. That's just how I feel. But let me get to the next call. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Nolo King, what's happening?
Hey, man, not much. You?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Well, actually, it was my birthday this past Tuesday. I turned the big 30.
Oh, yeah, man. Getting up there, man. Getting over the hill.
Yeah, I'm getting old. My bones. Yeah, but this, you know what? We almost converted my family to liking Trump. They were finding him charming during those press conferences, but he just went ahead and said that whole disinfectant thing, man, and we lost him. I'm sorry. Like, I have some family, they live by in Memphis and Dallas, and I was so happy, man. They were starting to like him, and now they're starting to mock him. And the thing with them is they're looking for the smallest thing to turn their back, right? To say, you know what, I give up on this guy. And I try and tell them, you got to focus on the important things. You know, you look at a guy like Trudeau, he's well-dressed, well-spoken. He seems to say all the right things, but he's turning Canada into a dump. You know what I mean? Like, we were doing very bad economically before this whole shutdown, and people have no idea. They're just focused on, oh, look how presidential he is. Oh, look how sweet he is. There was one time he cried and all the women were happy. You know, they were saying, oh, he's so sweet. He's not like that bully Trump. And even I said to my sister, I said, look, you're all pro-black and all this stuff, and you're mocking a guy who's reversing things that Biden implemented, you know, with the crime reform, right? Biden, I hope I'm not mistaken, but didn't he write that crime bill?
Yes, he did.
And I'm thinking, you're all pro-black and all this stuff, and you're supporting Biden and you're mocking Trump. Like, you're not paying attention. And then I have a brother. He's very religious, very homophobic, and he's telling me that Obama is one of the best presidents the U.S. has ever had. And I'm like, dude, you're just so, you know what I mean? I don't understand how they think, and I try and talk to them, and everything I say, even if I bring up the data or evidence, I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? They just consume everything from CNN and they take it. I had one supervisor, he used to drive me around the city and would have to listen to CNN, and it took me a long time to come out and just tell him, you know what, I'm a Trump supporter, and this guy got so triggered, he didn't want to be around me, right? And I don't know, it's really difficult and frustrating at the same time. But I just think Trump needs to keep doing what he's doing. He did make a mistake. I think by saying he was being sarcastic, I think that was a mistake. What do you think? I think he should have just been honest and said, you know what, I was asking questions. I'm not very knowledgeable about this situation, and it came across really bad. I don't know. What do you think? Was he right by saying he was being sarcastic?
I mean, I think that if you say by saying that, it's just the way they kind of like play it off, because it doesn't really matter what he says in that situation after that. He could say, I was being sarcastic. People are going to say, okay, you're lying. And that's it. And or if he says, you know, oh, that's my mistake, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, then they're going to say, oh, Trump's always wrong. Now he finally admits that he can't admit. So it doesn't really matter what he says in that situation. There's always going to be a negative spin, really. And people just focus on that one word. They didn't hear the rest of the press briefing where they were talking about actual research that had been done, like actual physical hardcore data and research. They had graphs on, they had numbers. They're talking about half-life and how long it take to kill this and that. They totally ignore all that because of that one word. So it doesn't really matter. Anybody that was really blowing it out of proportion already had something in the back of their mind that says that Trump ain't really the guy, or they just outright hated Trump to begin with. And like you said, they were using that as an excuse to not like him and to attack him further. So he was kind of in a situation where he couldn't really say anything to really make that seem better than what it was.
And the last thing I want to talk about quickly is this Kim Jong-Un thing. I mean, the funniest thing about it is the memes. You know, they'll have memes of like people running away and saying that's the surgeon, or they'll have pictures of Kim Jong-un looking out the window and you have those African guys dancing in the background. So that's the best part. But it is getting creepy how people are fetishizing his sister. You know, that's the part I'm not getting. And a lot of women are saying, oh, I can't wait to see a strong woman in charge. Trump better watch out. And it's like, guys, this is a dictatorship. Millions of people are being killed. You know, can you stop with this identity politics for just one day? But anyway, as always, it was great talking to you, and I wish you all the best, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Peace.
Great call from my man Nolo King. Yeah, they don't understand anything about North Korea. People that are talking about, his sister's going to be a strong woman, all this, that, and the third. They have no idea about North Korea at all. They don't know about how people are starving to death in North Korea. Okay, in order for you to be able to get like a morsel of food, you got to be like, people are not well up there. A lot of them aren't. It's not like America. Go up there and see how people are living. It's not. Food is a problem up there. It's a whole different world. Okay. Like you see South Korea, like you can see it from space. You go to South Korea, it's like America a little bit, but just Korea, Asian, basically, East Asian, like Japan. Lights everywhere. Is things to do. You got K-pop going on. North Korea, it's like 1950 USSR, 1960 USSR. It's a whole different world. No power, no lights, no nothing. Food is a problem. Dictatorship, you get shot, killed for the smallest things. Kim Jong-Un allegedly killed his own uncle by marriage or whatever it was. It's crazy up there. But they're talking about how they want to have a strong woman in power. In power of what? A nation of starving people that have no choice but to praise their leader, whether they want to or not. But let me get to the next call. 219 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name is Scott Drake.
All right, Scott, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. I just want to talk about that I was in the hospital. I have asthma, and I had to go to the hospital for some X-rays. And when I went in, and this is Northwest Indiana, I walked in. There was one person. We had to walk in through the emergency room door because the other door was blocked off. And when I walked in, there was one other person in a big old waiting room for the emergency room. And as I sat there and filled out the paperwork, another person came in there. I went back to radiology. A tumbleweed could have went through there. It was so empty. These hospitals are empty. And I just want everybody to know that I was actually in a hospital and saw this with my own two eyes.
Yeah, that's crazy. And and the reason why is because people are afraid to go to the hospital. They don't want to catch the virus. They got doctor's appointments. People may have an ache or a pain and say, nope, I don't want to go. And that's causing problems. People may actually end up getting sicker or dying at home because they don't go to the hospital because they're scared of the hospital. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you hit it right on the head. I was avoiding getting the X-rays because I have asthma and this, and the virus going around. So I was avoiding it. And I talked to my mother-in-law and she said, no, come on in. There's no one there. And I'm like, if you had asthma, would you come to the hospital? She goes, yeah, I'd go. So I went in there and sure enough, it's empty. A tumbleweed could have went through the waiting room. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how it is all around the country. But they're telling us, they're overrun. There's so many COVID patients all over. They're dying all over the place. It's just not the reality.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And one last thing before I get off, I really liked one of your the callers saying about that vitamin C injection. I actually know someone that takes those, and they swear by those injections. And he was telling me he's traveled the whole world, and other countries do those, and it's normal in other countries, but it's kind of taboo here. But I know people that pay $80 to $120 per injection for that vitamin C, and they say it's a lifesaver.
Wow. That's amazing. But hopefully we can get on that train of thought here rather than having the FBI come raid a doctor's office because of that. It's crazy.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering me, man. You're awesome, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And shout out to everybody that super chatted so far. You guys have been great. Thank you to, let me see, Silky Boxers. That's your name. Who says, Dante's Inferno is about Pelosi's corrupt ancestors. Hilarious. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Musso Bronze, who says, I got no issues with the Asians of any kind, but China did us and everyone else dirty. I don't know what the response should be, but something got to give. Hey, I'm with you on that. Something's got to give. You can't just let them rock and do whatever they want to do. One of the main things that they did, the most egregious thing they did, in my humble opinion, is when they shut off travel from Hubei province in China to Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong, Macau, etc., to anywhere else in China, but they were still allowing international flights to leave Hubei and come to the USA and Europe and everywhere else. They had direct flights going from Hubei to Italy, northern Italy, where the outbreak happened, and all them senior citizens died in nursing homes and everything else. So they are responsible for what's going on for 100%. Some may say, oh, it was a bioweapon. Could be. Some may say, oh, it was bats and rats and cats and dogs. Could be. What I do know for sure and for certain is that they stopped travel to prevent the virus from spreading in China, while at the same time they were allowing flights to leave. So they didn't care about you or me or anybody else. They care about themselves. And that is a serious problem. But thank you for that donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to Travis for the emoji super chat with the mic drop. I appreciate that. Thank you to Shane Wilson, who says, I'm frustrated with Trump. His guidelines has given governors power to lock us down, social distancing, indoctrination, going through summer. I feel Trump has lost control and our country will never be the same. What say you? I think that he did what the experts were saying, because you have a thing coming to the country that has already killed plenty all over the world. What do you do? And if you just a guy that's not a doctor or any kind of expert, who do you actually turn to? This guy Fauci's been around since Reagan. So it's like, you're supposed to trust him, right? How would I know, or anyone else know not to trust him? How would you really know that? Now, maybe he could have done a better job vetting them or whatever, but who could have predicted that this guy would not be the right person? I don't really know, but thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. I think that Trump did all he could do, really, because he's not a doctor. If he would have been a doctor or like a guy that knows more or different than Fauci, then it would have been a different response, in my humble opinion. Thank you to Ryan Miles, who says the media hate Trump. Eyewitnesses spot Trump walking on water. The media, breaking news, Trump can't swim. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Adam Bomb 31458, who says, new to your show, tremendous. I appreciate that. It means a whole lot to me. And thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Nature Boy Alfie, who says, can you interview Brian Stelter or some other liberal activists? I'd love to. I've done that before. I'll do it again. To me, it's just fun. I enjoy different points of view, having debates and whatnot. So, hey, anybody want to come on through, have a debate, have an interview, whatever you want to call it, hey, I'm ready to rock. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Max Dominguez, who says, update on the Hidalgo gotta wear a mask law in Harris County, Houston. Police announced they won't enforce the law. Maybe there's hope for my hometown. There you go. So I was talking to my man Snap Turlet about, the police are saying, nope, we're not going to enforce that. We're not with it. So the police, they're on our side. They're hearing us. I know some guys that are in law enforcement right now, actively on the street, and they say, listen to me. They understand what's going on. So now we're not just reaching just regular normies. We're reaching people in law enforcement, military, everything else. So, this thing, the people the politicians and whatnot, those that are in charge, those from the ivory tower cannot dominate us on the ground. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Rebel for your donation. I appreciate you as well, boss. But let me get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me go ahead and get into it. All right, call you on the line, 860. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hi. This is Sonia Scrapbook. How are you, ABL?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Oh, my goodness. It was ringing off the hook. I didn't think anybody was going to answer. All right. So I'm from New York City, and it's a little crazy how you have all these callers calling in and saying there's nobody in the hospitals and that it's not as bad as it seems. And none of this you ever hear about in the news. You have Cuomo at home getting everybody in his family sick. His wife is bathing in bleach, supposedly. And, there was an article that I came across early on before anybody knew what was going on, and it was about a lesson about the sun from the 1918 influenza pandemic. And it clearly said there that they had to use open-air treatment back then to treat the soldiers from the flu. And they also had these huge windows so they could get the air in and out of the hospital wards, and that this was proven to kill the flu virus, and also keep them alive. And it was replaced, they never got to use it further as a treatment because it got replaced by antibiotics, which now, we're immune to, or at least some of us, we get the bugs are getting resistant to it. So I just find it funny, that they talk about the UV rays and other stuff, and they blow it all out of proportion when those are things that actually have helped people. Just because they want to bash, the president as always.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's why I was saying, like, they heard the word inject and then just totally gloss over everything else. They gloss over the whole thing about the light, getting outside, which really means not being quarantined, not being trapped inside your house, breathing all the mold and the dust and lint and the pollen and the bad air and everything else. You also get some fresh air, vitamin D, all that good stuff. They totally ignore all that.
And also, I mean, when I heard him speak, I heard him, turn to the person on the podium there and ask a question, not give a directive.
That's right.
What I heard.
That's right.
And, he just wanted to know what were the possibilities medically, if at all. And even if it was a dumb question, had Biden said something like that, you wouldn't have heard a thing about it.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
The cherry picking, it's exquisite this year. But that's all. I just wanted to share about the open air and the sunshine and all that, because those are the things, they're wasting all this time about nitpicking everything that he says and how he says it, but they're not looking at solutions. And then when, people take the fish tank cleaner, they make all these memes and they go crazy. And when someone wants to thank him because he mentions it and then they went to their doctor to use it appropriately, the real medication, not the fish tank cleaner, the woman can't even say thanks.
Exactly. It's crazy.
It is. But that's it for me. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate it.
I'm so glad I found your channel.
I'm glad you did. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, the media, they don't really, they got to have ulterior motives. They just want to attack the president, blowing things out of proportion. For what reason? Just to attack, just because he's the enemy. He's the enemy of the media. That's just how they looking at the whole situation. 100%. All right. Let me see. And shout out to Snapzilla Gorilla, who says, I was going to say that we do need to appeal to the police and military and help us achieve true freedom. Definitely not an insurgency, but a step toward freedom in the most peaceful way possible. There you go. I'm right there with you, man. I agree with you 100%, man. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Let me get to the next call. All right, caller on the line, 607. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, good evening.
All right, evening. What's going on?
Whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of everything. Whole lot of nothing.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Personal note, I hope you're doing well in the state of Tennessee. We're dealing with the tornadoes that y'all had a few days ago.
Oh yeah, it's we're doing much better here, and thank you for asking about that. There's still some people that have no power or just got power back recently, so it's still some challenges, but for the most part, things are back to normal for sure.
Nevertheless, of course, the main subject of the world right now happens to be this Wu flu problem. And my personal question to you is: do you really honestly think that the United States, especially the United States government, is actually going to hold China accountable for what they have done?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how we can do it, because the thing is, there are already certain little sanctions on them, I guess, as far as tariffs and whatnot. So I don't know what else we can do. Hopefully we do something. I think that we are going to try to do something, but to the extent in which we can do something is a different story. We may want to, but can we? That's the real question, in my humble opinion.
Honestly, personally, I really don't foresee the federal government actually really doing something directly against them. I really don't. Donald Trump really wants this trade agreement to go through with China, and I respect his understanding of that. Mainly, it helps our agricultural industry and other industries. Well, I really believe if we actually really, as America, really want to hold China accountable, it will actually be upon us, not the federal government. When we go to Walmart, or Target, wherever, God's creation, and we look at the labels that's made in China, or A, or B, B, made in the United States, we're going to have to look and say, hey, China messed us up. China has a problem with this, and they're at fault. I'll spend the extra 50 cents or $1. That's where it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, honestly, we as a country really need to hold China accountable. I do foresee possibly that the president actually with the DPA more or less say, hey, with these antibiotics, with these other drug treatments, this, that, and the other, they're deemed national security. We need to have these things come back to the United States. this stuff will be produced here, because China did. I don't think they actually have, but really per se, they really did kind of flex their muscles. Like, hey, you know, you want to go ahead and throw mud at us? We'll just flex our muscles and say, hey, we'll just drown you in the China virus ocean, or drown you in China virus. I can't remember. I apologize. I can't remember the exact quote that they said. And with that, when we actually come up with an actual a vaccine for it, or better treatments, this, that, and the other, unfortunately, the simple fact that like a lot of the products that will most likely be required to actually produce these sort of chemicals or vaccines or cures, etc., it's going to be produced in China. And I find a feeling that if we actually do come across this, when we actually do come up with it, that China's going to flex their muscle and say, hey, yeah, we're going ahead and reduce this. We're going to produce embargoes. We don't think we need to sell you this much.
Well, see, the thing about it, one thing that's missing here is that China is dependent upon us as well. They're very dependent upon us, because who are they selling those things to? Who are they, like, they're making things, but who are they selling it to? They're heavily dependent upon the U.S., so it's not just a one-way street. They can't just flex their muscle without us flexing ours as well. That's why it's a trade war. It's not just a situation where you can go in there and just do whatever we want, and the same thing with them. So it'd be a give and take type situation. So it won't just be one-sided. If it were one-sided, then there'd be no trade war. It'd just be, okay, here's what it's going to be, and you won't do anything about it.
I see your perspective. I know from what I'm understanding, what you're saying is we're dealing with like a chicken and egg theory. They are the supply, we are the demand. And that's our case. I mean, the demand will actually take precedence over the supply, because we will, as United States citizens, we will figure out a way to make this supply, period. And we're more or less going, give China the big giant middle finger in the process. And that's something that I personally think we should do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's my personal take on these things. And, apologies. One other point I wanted to mention. As for reopening the country, my personal belief is the reopening of the country will not be based on the governors or the president of the United States. It's going to be based upon us. I have a funny feeling that we as a population are going to say, hey, this thing is not that big of a deal, I'll deal with it. Or some people are going to go and say, hey, I got to do something. I don't care what you say, but I'm going to do something. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you know something? I'm going to do it. And eventually enough people are going to say, to heck with these lockdowns, to heck with it. And I find, like, especially as summer progresses, it's going to become one of those sort of things where, like, I'm not scared of this. I don't care what you're throwing at me. But I'm going to do this if you like it or not. And we're going to reopen if you like it or not.
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm definitely right there with you, man. And I think that that's starting to happen right now already. Like in my city where I live, is, the cars are on the road, people are out, and the police ain't really enforcing too much. And I think that'd be the case in a lot of these cities. The police ain't really going to be enforcing, because they understand that we got to get back to normal life. And the lockdown is causing other problems that the police got to deal with. So I think they know. I think that we're getting closer to the end. If it's not here already, we're getting closer to the end right now.
I mean, and furthermore to that point, I mean, that's what really going to come into place with this upcoming fall. If there happens to be a second wave, it's like it becomes a seasonal thing. Seasonal thing like the flu. I mean, eventually people are going to be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we got COVID. Yeah, we got the common cold. Yeah, we got the flu. Whatever. I'm sorry, but we got to work. We got to do business. If you don't like it, I don't care. But we got to do what we got to do. And I really think that actually will come to the issue, because if it really doesn't, unfortunately, unfortunately for them, we will in the United States say, hey, if it really comes to shove, we have a Second Amendment. This is the purpose for it, and we will exercise it.
No doubt, man. I'm with you with it.
And trust me, I really don't believe the actual Democrats really want to deal with that sort of issue.
Nah, I don't think they want that at all, man. But thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Well, nevertheless, have a good evening, and God bless you.
All right, now. God bless.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next call here. Unknown number. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
Brian there?
Yes, you are.
Whoa. Brian Logan. Hi.
All right. What's going on, man? What's happening?
All right. Well, I'll start anywhere. Hope I do well. Sorry if I don't. All right. With regards to, I'll start anywhere. I don't even look at this list. I don't even know what my chicken scratch is about. Okay. With regards to Mr. Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, he's been known to say many a times that he loves and adores, I don't know his name, Ping Chang, the president of China, communist China there. He loves dictatorship. He loves communism. I've heard him saying that 4 times in the past few years. And I'm thinking, how dare he call himself a libertarian? That's what they call it in Canada. For down south, they call it Democrats. Same stuff, different pile, same style. Because when I think of libertarian, I'm thinking of freedom and liberties. Not having my liberties taken away, not being oppressed, not losing my freedom of speech, expression, freedom of assembly, right to bear arms, and having our media influence, which is basically blocking your freedom of press. So when he said, and I saw on Rebel News, by the way, a clip. Hope that's not a hope I'm allowed to say that website, rebelnews.com. He was saying in a room full of people that he appreciates or likes, I have to paraphrase, communism. So he said it in many different ways over the past few years. Just like in 2006, he had bragged about supporting Sharia law. So, Sharia law, that's where they can lock a girl's private parts up. They stone you because they merely think you looked at a different person, or you had your skirt above your ankles or not below your knee, or whatever the rules might be once in a while, or they dump all the...
Oh, the caller, I don't know what happened. I didn't hang up on him. The caller just kind of dropped off. Sorry about that, caller. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. It's Skype. Skype is doing whatever it wants to do nowadays. But thank you to the call. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you. I think Skype just quit. Let me go ahead and restart Skype right quick. Then I'm going to get right back to the calls. And thank you all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. You guys have been great. Always a great show. We've been able to keep about 1,300 to 1,400 throughout the whole show. It's very good. Very good showing on a Sunday. And shout out to all the first-time callers, all the repeat callers. You guys have been good. All righty, let's go ahead and try to get back. There we go. Turn that down. Okay. Let me see if I can get this call. Okay. All right, calling you on line. Thank you for someone who am I speaking to?
Joshua.
All right, Joshua, what's going on?
Not much as of lately. Here we go.
All righty. So, what's on your mind? What's on your mind right now?
Kim Jong-Un.
And what about him?
I don't think actually, I think he's dead.
I believe you're right, yes.
Because North Korea always hides stuff for years since their creation, because they're a dictatorship from the 1960s. They're a basically a USSR country, North Korea. And what I'm going to see about it is that when he dies, they're going to create a new leader, and it's going to be her sister. And I heard that she was going to be way worse than her brother. And the cycle is going to repeat itself.
Yeah, I mean, it could be some of the same things going on. And also you have China. They're very involved with North Korea and have been for a long time. So because China's right there, it's like right on the border. So that could be an issue to look for. And she may not be as friendly as Kim Jong-Un was, although Kim Jong-Un wasn't really friendly necessarily, but he was at least willing to talk to you, talking to Trump, had Trump inside the actual country, but she might not be the same way. So it'd be interesting to see how this whole thing works out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And another thing I want to talk about is the People's Republic of New York.
Okay, what about it?
New York in general, but New York in general is just a horrible place. But my what I'm talking about is New York City is a horrible place because majority of people in hashtag not all are not very politically active. They're always listening to the Democrats, and now in workplaces you are forced to wear a mask. And I don't want to wear a mask all the time and wear gloves all the time, but you're forced to now, because of this so-called pandemic.
Yeah,
and
this scamdemic.
And the mayor of New York City is a complete and total joke. He's a dictator. He's a communist. He's a Nazi, basically, because what he did a couple of days ago is basically like snitching. If I'm saying it right.
Yeah, snitching. Yeah.
Is like taking a picture if someone's not social distancing, but instead of taking a picture, they're sending images of pics and Hitler memes.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was pretty crazy.
Like he's a joke. Like my governor Andrew Cuomo is. He's a joke. And MSU probably won't open until July or August.
That's crazy. That's way too long. I mean, people, how are you going to be able to survive? I mean, what's happening right now in New York with the lockdown? I mean, can people go anywhere? Can they go to work? What's really going on?
I don't see a lot of people in around my workplace. It's like a ghost town, and there's lots of homeless people on the train, especially train where there's no a lot of people are not going in the train, so the homeless are sitting or making homes in there. They're smoking in there. They drink in there, and they smoke weed in there. So it's completely lawless in the train station.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I see a light in the end of the tunnel in this craziness.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully we get to that, because like I said before, if this goes on any longer, it's going to be very hard to get out of it, if not impossible. You're going to have irreversible damage that happens as a result.
Yeah, and this is why I see lots of like red states and swing states opening right now, like Texas, Florida, Georgia, and Montana is reopening again.
Right.
Yeah. And one last thing before I go is, it's not Trump's fault at all that this happens. It's not. Like, it's basically China's fault. It's China's fault because they were hiding it. But if they trying to secure it or something, 95% wouldn't happen right now. 95%. But
yeah.
But their comments, you know what? They're so corrupt that they just hide it. They let people go to other countries affecting it, especially Europe. So they need to be held accountable for it.
Right. I'm with you on that, man. 100%. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you too, ABL.
All right, now. Take care.
Take care.
All righty. Thank you all for being here. Shouts to my man Joshua Perez for the call. Let me get to the next call. 208, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, 208. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All righty, man. What's going on? I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Turn speakers down in the background for me.
No, it's all done. It's good.
All right. What's going on?
Not much. I just I bop around from a bunch of different channels. I pretty much split my time between. I guess before I say this, is it okay to say another YouTuber's name on your platform? Is that okay?
That's fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I split my time between you and Tommy Sotomayor, and what I notice is the two of you guys have a lot of the same points, And the thing that I enjoy the most is I've never met either one of you, but the thing that it's kind of like I was listening to someone else talk about the Bible. It's like you take little tiny pieces of what you need from everybody, and what I guess the thing that I see the most is you guys have been able to look past all the divisiveness that the media has been throwing out and all that kind of garbage that they throw out. And I'm not even talking about a black and white thing. I mean, anybody can do that. Anybody has free will to be able to say, hey, this is not doing my life. This is not serving my life in a positive way. I'm going to try something else. And it's kind of like trying a new food. If there's something you've never had before, you may be adverse to trying it, but you give it a shot, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but at least you can say that you tried it. And what I see a lot of people, and this isn't just black and white, but I see a lot of people that are jumping away from that crazy democratic society, because even now, what's really sad is it took a pandemic to show people exactly what they needed to see. It took a pandemic, and it took people dying, because I work in a hospital, I work in surgery, and I've seen some things that probably no one else wants to see. But the fact of the matter is, John Q. Public doesn't understand that. So it's refreshing to see a lot of people switch their paradigm and switch the way that they look at things to be able to see things in a different light, to where I'm at right now, I'm spinning my wheels and I'm not getting anywhere. And it took a pandemic to come and put the proverbial piece of wood under the tires to get them to move past that. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people that have gone from being, on the Democratic side to the Republican side and vice versa. But what I've seen is it doesn't matter to me what side you're on, as long as you're thinking for yourself. If you can make an informed decision and look at what's going on, and if you want to go to that side, that's great, but at least do it for a reason that's going to benefit you and your family, and at least do it for a reason that's going to back up what your morals are and your life experience and things like that. I don't really care what side of the fence you're on, as long as you're doing something. I have no problem with someone bouncing from the Republican side to the Democratic side and vice versa. It doesn't matter to me. But it's taken and I'm just going to take 20 seconds, and I'm going to let you reflect on this. I know there's a bunch of other people that want to call in, but I don't care what side of the fence you're on, as long as you're doing it for a rationale. Have a rationale. Don't just say that it's because of what someone else is telling you to do. We all grow up with our parents and people in our lives telling us what to do, and it takes somebody to go on that edge of that tree, on that limb. It might bust, but it might not. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, as long as you're doing it for a rationale that fits your life experience and benefits your life. So I'm going to get off the phone. I love your channel. I've been listening to you for years, and I really, really appreciate everything that you do. So have a good rest of your night.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it. All right, shout out to the caller. And I got a little bit of time left, a couple more calls, and then I'll be able to wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. And before I get to my next call, I got super chats to read right quick. Shout out to Richard Kane, who says, liberty means responsibility. That is why most Democrats dread it. Very good quote. And thank you for your donation. Most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to the Mashup, who says, this virus feels like the plot of V for Vendetta. Very good point. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. Shout out to one baby girl G, who says the Attorney General in Missouri is pursuing a lawsuit against China as we speak. I saw that. And I hope other states join them. Hopefully it's a class action lawsuit. Hopefully the USA sues. How about that? Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Leviathan 3149, who says, please take my call 208. Hopefully that was you that I just talked to. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Let me get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 801, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, 801. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to the man in charge.
All right, caller. Now, you're talking to me right now, but I got feedback in the background. I got to turn the speakers off for me.
Oh, hold on.
All righty. So what's going on?
Can you hear me?
I hear you well. So how is everything? What's going on?
Well, the reason I call, and I usually don't call people up because I don't know how to use a lot of stuff, but I'm a disabled veteran living here in Utah, and I've been here for a long time. And when I see what's going on around us, and people dying and this and that, we got to realize that a lot of the people that were in, in World War I, II, so on and so on. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and my turn's going to come up. So you can imagine how many veterans are dying a year, just from Agent Orange. And see, you can't put that on your death certificate or whatever, Agent Orange. But one of the worst things, and what I don't like here is that I think what's happening is that people are not taking, what they're doing is they're looking the wrong way. We've got to start looking at world order, and then, because that is part of their plan. Part of their plan is to start doing this.
Paulie, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, that is part of the job that they were going to do. The main thing is to make sure that they were able to get rid of all of this small businesses. And once they got rid of all the small businesses, then we would have to depend on I guess you could call them the 1%, the big money, billionaires and all that. And I think that's what the heck we're not watching, is what they're doing. On the 14th of May, they were supposed to be voting on the United PAC. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. But anyway, they've already voted once before. I guess it's every year. And every country except the United States voted to be part of the PAC. And the PAC being that anybody could come into our country, open borders, you name it, trade, everything. But we didn't sign it. So now they're going to have another one now. And because we didn't sign it, and they probably figured that Trump's not going to sign it, they're trying to do is surround us. Now, Mexico signed it last time. And they're pretty well gone into, I guess you could call it communism. And Canada also signed it. And there was a lot of these countries that also signed it, but decided, no, we don't want that anymore because of so much, how would I put it there? Too many refugees come into our country. We can't afford that. We can't deal with it, So a lot of these countries that I think are being affected mostly by the virus are countries that don't want to be in it no more. And they've made it a point they don't want to be in it. So I think that's why they're putting a lot of pressure on us. But we also have to realize that when I listen to the doctors and, with Trump, I'm telling myself, how in the hell did that doctor know that we're going to run into this kind of a virus in 2000 and, into the president's term? And we knew this about it in 2015, him and Gates. So I'm just wondering, how in the hell did they know we were going to have this kind of a global problem, unless they were part of it? So what I'm just saying is, for me, I think what the congressmen and all the senators and all that stuff got to be watching for is how they're going to vote this next time on the PAC. Because they're trying to get the United States. We're the only one that's holding them up for to have a world order. And this was supposed to start in 2020, because Hillary was supposed to have been president, and they had already arranged it. Obama and this, and her and Clinton, all them. It was already arranged. All this stuff was supposed to be taking place. And by 2030, we were supposed to be at the last phase, and that would have been what they call socialism, period. So I think that a lot of the stuff that's going on right now is just we're looking one way, and they're doing things the other way. And that's where it's dangerous, because if we get to a point where we have to take, shots and all that stuff, a vaccine shot, it's going to be dangerous, because they're going to want to vaccine all of us, including our children. And I don't think I like that, because I just picture myself personally. I don't want a shot. Or you're going to have one if you want a driver's license. No, I ain't going to take that shot. You're going to have to, or you ain't going to be able to go to the parks, out of the house, to the stores. You got to have that shot, and that's how they're going to control us. So that's what I'm looking at, is people have got to start looking a little bit more at what's going on. Like I say, I'm a disabled veteran. I haven't been out of my house since 2020. 2001, I'm sorry. Deal with post-traumatic stress disorder, but I see what's going on, and it pisses me off to no end. Excuse me, but it gets me mad, because, I got wounded twice in Vietnam, and I lost a lot of friends in Vietnam, and people lost a lot of people in Korea and all this stuff. We don't need to go into a socialism world. We went and fought so we could be, free. So we don't need people jumping in there and starting up to, trying to make me do something I don't want to do. Because be honest with you, if it ever comes to it, there's one veteran that will come right out and see what we're going to do about it, because I'm not going to stand back. Nobody's taking my guns away at all. And, that's one thing, is they don't want they want to take our weapons away. They want to do all this different stuff. And I see it as, once they take all that stuff, how do we protect ourselves with toothpicks?
Exactly. I'm right there with you. We got to keep the guns, because we got to protect ourselves from everything, not just, and not just rely upon the government to protect ourselves, because that's not how it's supposed to be. But hey, I got to get to wrap up the show, because I'm at the end of my time. So thank you for the call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
Hey, thank you very much. And, take that into consideration when I'm talking about it, and kind of look into it if you have to. But then you'll see what's going on with this pack.
Right. I'll take a look into it, man. Thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Vietnam veteran, if I'm not mistaken, on the phone. I appreciate him. But the show is over. Thank y'all for being here. I got to wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. I'm at my time limit. Thank y'all for joining. Been a great show. A lot of great callers, a lot of great questions, a lot of great people in the building. A nice size audience. You guys have been great. If you are a first time viewer, thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the channel. That'll help me out a whole lot. Please hit the like button on the video. Hit that like button. The like button is free. Hit the like button for me to help me out to get the whole show seen to a wider audience. This show will be available tomorrow morning on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether you're listening to me on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, Anchor, whatever you're on, I'm there. Spotify, of course. Thank y'all again. We got some more super chats and wrap it on up, put a bow. And who do we have? Shout out to What's the Matter You, who said, thank you, ABL, for your shows. Best wishes to all. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to JKT, who says, love the show. Well, thank you for your donation and your very kind words. I most certainly appreciate you. That'd be a wrap for me. Shout out to the moderators. You guys do a great job. Shout out to Eliza Jean, shout out to Shreve, shout out to Bill from the Hills, True Helper, Michelle A, and Sel. You guys are doing a great job keeping them trolls in line. Eliza Jean, I see you. Thank you all for joining. I'll be back with another live show on Wednesday. My normal schedule is Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturday night, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. But what happened was last night, my internet on my rig was not working. I had cell phone data, but I could not run this on the cell phone. It just ain't gonna happen. So normally Wednesday and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. That's my schedule. So I'll stick to that. And next time, as long as my internet don't go out or anything crazy like that. But that'll be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.